tonight. Yes, okay. We have the chairpersons, Lion Monel Marksman and Colville Harry. Then we'll have a musical interlude, followed by the introduction of the finalists. Then we have the invocation, the national anthem, and welcome remarks by Lion Janelle George, who is the president of the Lions Club St. Vincent South. We'd also see remarks by Mr. Wayne Hull, the country manager for Flow SPG, who's a sponsor of this event tonight, followed by Mrs. Mavis Finley Joseph, a representative from the Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation. Then we'll get an overview of the competition tonight and our
And
judges. And
that would entail the rules and guidelines and so forth going forward. Then the introduction of the judges and timekeepers and the competition, what we all been waiting for. And the main topic, Angie?
our world is in a state of confusion as it tries to reconcile one's inalienable,
Inalienable.
alienable, inalienable, wow,
Kind
rights.
of tight up
It's a
word.
good thing I
Let's start
wasn't.
from the top again.
Yes. Our world is in a state of confusion as it tries to reconcile one's inalienable rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs, and the role of the state. I repeat, our world is in a state of confusion as it tries to reconcile one's inalienable rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs, and the role of the state.
And then we'd have the students prepared topic, followed by the impromptu. And then we'd have brief remarks from Nicole Trudeau, UNICEF Program Coordinator for SVG. Then the vote of thanks, results, and presentation of certificates.
So, yes, folks, that is just an overview of the program for tonight. And just a reminder that this broadcast is coming to you live via Nice Radio, and we are bringing you audio and visual tonight.
Yes. We take a little music from the DJ.
Okay, so I think we're about to begin as I see Lion Colville Harry taking the
Honorable
mic.
Fitzgerald Bramble, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingstown. Mr. Wayne Hull, Country Manager, Flow, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mrs. Mavis Finley Joseph, Senior Education Officer for Primary Schools and Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation. Other government officials, representatives from the United Nations Eastern Caribbean Area. Lion Janelle George, President of Lions Club St. Vincent South. Other distinguished Lions and Leos, principals and teachers, judges, the media, listeners and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow participants and students, good evening. I'm Lion Colvin Harry of the Lions Club St. Vincent South, your host and chairman for this evening's proceedings. And it gives me great pleasure to see all of you here today on behalf of the Lions Club St. Vincent South. We welcome you. And of course, we are grateful for our sponsors, Flow, for this, the Lions Club St. Vincent South Flow National Secondary Schools Public Speaking Competition. I would like to acknowledge those who are viewing and listening by way of the National Broadcasting Corporation, NBC Radio, WeFM, Nice Radio, as well as those viewing by way of VC3 Television, Channel 114, and across the online platforms of VC3 Television, the API, NBC Radio, and the Lions Club St. Vincent South Facebook page. We are expected to be joined by SVG Television later on during the course of the evening. I'm so happy to see you all here in support this evening, as I know there are many other competing events otherwise taking place. And we're happy that you can be here to support your former schools and other colleagues and friends. And I also wish to acknowledge the students from the respective schools, especially here tonight, as they have journeyed in far distances to be here and encourage their fellow participants. Can we give the participants a round of applause, please? All right, that's so that they can hear that from on the outside, as we're going to have them come in now. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the finalists for this year's Lions Club St. Vincent South Flow SVG National Secondary Schools Public Speaking Competition in order of their appearance tonight. Appearing in position number 1, Alexander Cummings of the St. Martin's Secondary School. Thank you very much, Corporal Raymond Powers. In position number 2, appearance, Macy Batiste, Sandy Bay Secondary School. Appearing in position number 3, Kyra Johnson of the North Union Secondary School. Appearing in position number 4, Jaheim Primus of the St. Vincent Grammar School. Appearing in position number 5 of the Mountain View Adventist Academy, Samara Lynch. And last but by no means least, of the Dr. J.P. Eustace Memorial Secondary School, Raj Buzz. Thank you very much, and thanks again, Corporal Raymond Powers, for executing our fanfare for the entrance of the participants tonight. So we cannot begin without a word of prayer now that we have our participants here with us. So at this time, I ask Lion Freddie Harper to bring us a word of prayer, and I ask that you remain standing for the national anthem of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Good night, one and all. As we bow our heads and close our eyes, as Lions, we are serving a world in need. As we meet here tonight to discuss why our world is in a state of confusion, we thank the Lord Jesus Christ in his name for bringing all of us here together tonight. We trust and hope, Lord, that this event will make world leaders, not just leaders for St. Vincent, but world leaders out of each and every one of us in our own right. Let us try our best to do what is right in St. Vincent. Lord, as we are here, we ask you to bless us and keep us safe. And for those who are coming, we ask that you bring them safely at the end of it all. Take us back home safely and let us rejoice in each and every participant, irrespective of the results. Thank you, Lord, once again for being there for us. Continue to guide us and protect us, keep us safe. In your name I pray thanksgiving. Amen.
Now the national anthem of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, DJ Cano.
Saint Vincent land, so beautiful, with joyful heart, we pledge to thee our loyalty and love and vow to keep you ever free, whatever future brings. God bless and keep us true. A little sister island of the gems, the lovely grenadines upon their seas, and the golden sand, the sunshine never beams. Whatever the future brings, faith will see us through. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us true.
Thank you very much. You may have your seats. Before we get into competition tonight, we have a few remarks. And at this time, I wish to invite our president, the president of the Lions Club St. Vincent South, Lion Janelle George, who will bring us some remarks. Please welcome her.
Chairperson, Honorable Fitzgerald Bramble, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingstown, Mr. Wayne Hull, Country Manager, Flo St. Vincent, Mrs. Mavis Finley Joseph, Senior Education Officer for Primary Schools in the Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation, other government officials, representatives of the United Nations of the Eastern Caribbean area, other distinguished Lions and Leos, principals and teachers, judges, media, listeners and viewers, ladies and generals, ladies and gentlemen, students and participants, good night. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone to this evening's public speaking competition on behalf of the Board of Directors and members of the Lions Club St. Vincent South. The Lions Club St. Vincent South is part of a global body of Lions Club with more than 100 years of service in over 200 countries. Our motto, "We Serve," seeks to empower us to volunteer to serve our communities, promote international understanding, and to meet humanitarian needs. Our international president, Fabricio Oliveira, theme for this Lionistic year is "Make Your Mark." He posits, and I quote, "Everywhere we serve, every time we give, we bring kindness and compassion, change and hope. And we make our mark on the lives we touch, the communities we serve, and the world we share." This year, our club celebrated its 46th anniversary of service here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as we endeavor to make our mark on the communities we serve. This being said, please allow me to highlight some of the projects that the engages in. We provide scholarships and bursaries to secondary schools and tertiary level students. We host the National Secondary School Public Speaking Competition tonight. We lend support to farmers through our Farmers Support Program. We collaborate with schools in the school poultry projects. We host annual primary school Christmas parties. We also provide Christmas hampers to persons in need. We have our annual tree planting in commemoration of World Earth Day, and we're hoping that we can plant trees this year on Union Island. That's our hope. We provide financial support for persons who are in need of medical treatment. We facilitate diabetes awareness and screening, cancer awareness and screening. We conduct health fairs, as well as other disaster relief efforts. This year, we were challenged with the devastating effects of Hurricane Beryl. However, Thanks to the support from Lions Club across the district and the kind generosity of international NGOs and donors, we are able to offer some level of relief to persons who were affected, and we are still doing so. I'll speak a bit on the public speaking competition. It must be noted that the public speaking competition was first held under the auspices of the Lions Club St. Vincent South in 1999. This year marks 25 years since the project was adopted, and it was first conceived by St. Vincent JCs. I don't think the younger children would know, the younger students would know that. We are appreciative of telecommunication company Flow and the Ministry of Education for always shouldering this project with us over the years. We are privileged as a club to have the opportunity to continue this legacy, which is one of our signature projects. And Flow has continued to make it possible for this competition to be successful and to be featured as one of the most anticipated events across the nation. This year, you would notice that the competition is being held later than norm, as it is usually held to coincide with our independence activities. However, as a result of the damages to homes and schools across the country by Hurricane Beryl, we took the decision to defer it to a later date to ensure all schools have an equal footing to participate. A total of 13 schools from across 14 zones participated in the preliminaries, which took place on the 15th and 18th of October. And so tonight, we present to you our 6 finalists, selected by our panel of judges to represent their respective schools. The overarching goal of this competition is to equip and provide an opportunity for students that are of a local, regional, and international concern, Our main topic tonight is a very interesting one. And so we anticipate that the debate would be very thought provoking, enlightening, and of course, entertaining. On behalf of my club, I tune to the various stakeholders of our projects who continue to support our efforts to serve our communities. I must say special thanks tonight to all the members of my club who were instrumental in ensuring the success of this competition tonight. To our competitors, let me wish you the very this competition as you deliver on your various topics. In the word of Helen Keller, optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. I know we're in somewhat of a bit of a competition tonight because there's also another international competition tonight. So I hope we will keep this competition as concise so that we can get the result of that other competition. All right? Enjoy the night.
Thank you very much, Lion President. And now we've been in partnership, as mentioned by the President, for many years, even before we got to know the brand Flow. And they've been part and parcel of our annual public speaking competition. At this time, I ask that you give a warm welcome to the country manager for Flow St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Mr. Wayne Hull, as he brings us some remarks on behalf of his company.
Thank you very much, Chair. And I must show recognition to Fitzgerald Brambo, who's the parliamentary representative for East Kingston, the President Lion Janelle George of the Lions Club South, the distinguished members and executive of the Lions Club South, officials of the Ministry of Education, our competing students and finalists, a pleasant good night to you. Our other students in the audience, our teachers, parents, members of the press. Certainly, I'm honored to be here tonight and to represent Flow, once again in supporting this event on behalf of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. No doubt, the Lions Club Flow public speaking event has been a staple in our Vincentian culture, and it has been a key feature of our independence celebrations. As the president indicated, we had some delay, but I think we are still celebrating 45 years of independence, so we are still in that mood. We at Flow, we are invested in the enduring success of this event, and more importantly, the accretive development of our students across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Our corporate philanthropic efforts, I think we remain unwavered despite the many disasters and the successive crises that we have endured, particularly recently the Hurricane Beryl and its impact on our business operations and the wider economy. And just to take you back there a little bit, that impact was tremendous on Flow's network across the island, especially in the southern Grenadines. Thankfully, in a very short time frame, we have been able to restore all services across St. Vincent and in the northern Grenadines, that is on the islands of Bequia and Mustique. All our mobile sites across the entire country has been recovered, including the southern Grenadines. Up to today, we have some sites still being run on generator power, but nonetheless, our people in the southern Grenadines remain connected through that network. We have 90%, I would say, completed our fixed network restoration in Canawan. We are about to go into Union Island and Myro shortly to complete the rebuild of that network so that we can bring back our services to the homes of customers still living on those two islands primarily. So the work was no doubt enormous, but I am really, really thankful and super proud of my team at Flow. They have made a tremendous commitment during the hurricane and the recovery efforts to build back our telecommunications network. And I think we all should show some appreciation to the Flow team and thank them for their hard work. Despite those challenging circumstances, we are really devoted to our vision. Our clear vision as we set for our company is to connect communities and transform lives. And this is why we are committed to events such as these. But nonetheless, during the hurricane, we made a further commitment to the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to restore the computer labs primarily in Canawan, Union Island, and Myro as a contributor from our Cable and Wireless Charitable Foundation. That partnership is being enhanced. Actually, tomorrow, Wednesday, our Vice President of People and Talent, Mr. Dominic Boom, will be doing a charitable fundraising event by swimming between the islands of Canawan to Union Island tomorrow. And he's doing that as well to raise funds for this particular hurricane relief effort in St. Vincent. So no doubt we continue to do our part. I also want to touch on a few other major events that we are supporting under the Flow umbrella. We have coming up on November 8th to 10th, the Flow in partnership with the local swimming association, the OECS Swimming Championship. This will be taking place at the Shrewsbury Aquatic Center in Rattermill. And I only want to encourage each of us present here and those listening to us through the various media channel to go out and support that event as well. And, you know, I just sharing how our brand transcends not just being a pure telecommunication and information technology company, but being a service provider that contributes to the development of our country. I also want to publicly here state again and to ensure that the president of the Lions Club South and its members have the full commitment again of Flow publicly that we will continue to support this event in the foreseeable future. So no doubt, you know, you will have that support from Flow, I think, in successive years to come. Tonight, I look forward to the competitive and vibrant debate from our students and finalists. I am always amazed by the oratory, skills exhibited at these events, and for your efforts. Flow will be offering tonight to each of the competitors, the finalists, mobile handset devices. I think they're already there on display. So that could be a small encouragement. And those are Samsung devices. It's the most popular device, I think in the world these days. So that's one little token to help with that. Additionally, we will also offer a 2-year scholarship to the community college for the winner of tonight's event. So certainly we want to continue with that. And, a similar scholarship, but at a lower levels for the second and third place as well. So some encouragement there for you. I think one of the feature and one of the commitment we continue to make is to offer a prize to the winning school. I think this prize of $3,000 to a project that is also up tonight as a prize. And I've seen a few schools. Most recently, the St. Vincent Grammar School took advantage of that prize, and they are developing a printing center for their school. I think that would be a tremendous help to the students. So certainly, making this contribution to your respective schools, I think it's a really noble effort. So once again, I want to congratulate the Lions Club South for hosting another successful event. To the president, Lion Janelle George, and other members and executive of the Lions Club South, continue to keep up the great work. I think you said you've been here for about 46 years. I mean, that's really a major milestone. And your role in our society, in my view, is vital, and you're doing some great work. So continue to keep up the good work, and I look forward to another successful event. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wayne Hull, country manager for Flow, and we look forward as well to that continued great relationship with us, Lions Club St. Vincent South and Flow. Now, as we continue with our program, at this time, I wish to also recognize the presence of Mrs. Joycelyn Blake Brown, the Deputy Chief Education Officer, who is joining us this evening here at the Methodist Church Hall. We welcome you, and we do hope that the competition will be of great interest to you. At this time, I wish to invite Ms. Finley Joseph, representative of the Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation, to bring us some remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Honorable Fitzgerald Bramble, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingstown, Deputy Chief Education Officer, Mrs. Joycelyn Blake Brown, Mr. Wayne Hull, Country Manager, Flow, SVG, representatives of the United Nations Eastern Caribbean Area, Lion Janelle George, President, Lions Club St. Vincent South, other distinguished Lions and Leos, competitors, judges, principals, teachers, parents, guardians, students, the media, listeners and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I would first of all like to offer sincerest apologies for the absence of our Honorable Minister of Education, Mr. Curtis King, and also our Chief Education Officer, who is currently on leave. On behalf of the Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation, I extend warm greetings and best wishes for a very successful evening at this most anticipated annual event, the Lions Club South Public Speaking Competition. The ministry extends sincerest congratulations to the finalists
who will soon contest for top honors, giving of their best as they represent their respective schools, parents, and communities. Participants, your presence represents tremendous work, perseverance, and a deep desire for excellence. Whatever the outcome, each of you must feel satisfied that you deserve to be here, creating yet another bold historic phase in the nation's educational development. We thank the parents and teachers who have worked together to prepare and encourage each of your charges for this evening's big occasion. We are grateful for the ongoing collaboration of the Lions Club South and the official sponsor, Flow, to host this annual public speaking spectacle. We applaud your endurance and assure you that by hosting this yearly event, you create an excellent opportunity to build confidence, sharpen critical thinking, and generally enhance communication skills among our students. The Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation wishes each of you participants the very best as you take the stage and present your ideas with courage and passion. Remember, we are all here to support you. We all look forward to your views and meaningful discourse on the topics that will be delivered. Thanks to all tuned in for investing your time to support our students. Once again, congratulations to all of our finalists. We eagerly await a most rewarding evening. God's richest blessings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Mavis Finley Joseph of the Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation, for those remarks. Are you ready for competition? Long time. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Not quite yet. Now, before we do that, we have to establish who the judges are and recognize those who will be integral in the process tonight of timekeeping and judging. So I'll first of all give you an overview of the competition so that you have an idea. Each speaker shall deliver 3 speeches, 1 main prepared speech, 1 student prepared speech, and an impromptu speech. For the main speech, each speaker shall speak for a period not exceeding 10 minutes. For the student prepared speech, each speaker shall speak for a period not exceeding 5 minutes. And for the impromptu segment, each speaker shall have 1 minute to consider the topic and no more than 2 minutes to present on his or her topic. So remember that. Any speaker who utilizes less than 8 minutes of the allocated time for the main prepared speech shall have 5 points deducted from his or her total score. Participants could refer to prepared notes from which they can make their presentation. And for the main prepared speech, participants not engaged in delivering their speeches shall be absent from the room at the time of the speech, at the time the speech is being delivered, unless he or she has already delivered his or her speech. Now, in terms of the judging and what the judges will be looking for, I would not go into detail, but just to give you the categories and the point allocations. For the main speech, the main topic, material, 20 points, manner, 10 points, language, 10 points, and voice, 10 points. That's for a total of 50 points. For the student prepared speech, material, 15 points, manner, 5 points, language, also 5 points, and voice, 5 points. And for the exciting part, the impromptu, material, 5 points, manner, 5 points, language, 5 points, and voice, also 5 points. A total of 20 points allocated to that competition, those areas of competition tonight. And I wish to also recognize our timekeepers for tonight, and we have Lions Sharon Williams and Kamita John. If you could just ring the bell for a bit so we know. All right, so those are timekeepers for this evening's proceedings. And just to give you an idea as to how that works for the bell rules, for the prepared speech, the first bell when the participant takes the podium and is ready to present, that's when you'll hear the first bell. The second bell will go at 8 minutes. That's to signal the time that you're expected to conclude your presentation. And you'll have the third and final bell at 10 minutes, which means basically you have to end it all there. Beyond that, that's it. Student prepared segment, the first bell, you'll hear that when the participant takes the podium and is ready to present. The second bell will go at 4 minutes, and the third bell and final bell at 5 minutes into the presentation. For the impromptu, a first bell will indicate the presence of the participant at the podium. The second bell would go at the end of the first minute. This is where the participant begins their presentation. The third bell will go at the end of the third minute, and this will be the final bell. So the total time spent at the podium would be the 1 minute plus the 2 minutes time to present the topic, present on the topic given. So now that we have that crystal clear, we recognize our judges this evening, and in alphabetical order, we'll go through the judges who will be, and I'll ask that they stand as I introduce them here tonight. Mr. Kesley Cambridge is a past Chevening scholar and a CARICOM Youth Ambassador who has worked closely with various vulnerable groups, particularly young males experiencing conflict with the law. Currently, he is a counselor attached to the Child Development Division within the Ministry of National Mobilization, Social Development, etc., and he holds a Master of Science in Applied Criminology and Forensic Psychology, along with a diploma in counseling. Mr. Cambridge is also a motivational speaker, helping to develop leadership skills in youth and encouraging volunteerism through service. Put your hands together for the first judge listed, Kesley Cambridge. Mrs. Simone Joseph Oliver has spent most of her career in the information and communications technology sector in various roles, including that of IT teacher and project officer for ICT sector development at CARICOM Secretariat, and she holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in Computer Science and a Master of Law, LLM, in Innovation, Technology, and Law. Mrs. Joseph Oliver's current role is the Assistant Director for the e-Government Unit, and she serves as the President of the Internet Society of St. Vincent and the Grenadines chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Simone Joseph Oliver, judge number 2. Judge number 3, Mr. Richie Maitland. He's an attorney at law for 11 years standing and a former Chevening scholar as well, with extensive experience in public, corporate, civil, and criminal law. Currently, he serves as the Senior Crown Counsel at the Director of Public Prosecution's Office. He possesses a Bachelor of Science in Law LLB, a Legal Education Certificate, and a Master's degree in Human Rights. Mr. Maitland is also a United Nations certified expert in human rights issues, a regional consultant on various public law issues, and a published fictional short story writer. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Richie Maitland. Ms. Colicia Mingo is a seasoned clinical pharmacist with over 20 years of experience. She holds a Master of Science in Clinical Pharmacy and currently serves as the Drug Inspector and International Narcotics Control Board Liaison at the SVG Medicinal Cannabis Authority. Ms. Mingo is also the dedicated president of the SVG Pharmaceutical Association. Ms. Colicia Mingo, judge number 4. Judge number 5, Mr. Kenson Stoddard, a former geography educator who currently serves as the Deputy Director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO. He holds a Bachelor's of Science degree, double majors in meteorology and computer science, and a Master of Science in Natural Resource and Environmental Management with a focus on climate change. Mr. Stoddard is also a director of the Hope International Football Club, a certified football coach, and a cricket enthusiast. Mr. Kenson Stoddard, judge number 5. And Lion Dr. Matika Glasgow, who's sitting next to Mr. Stoddard, will assist the judges in tonight's competition. So, are you ready for competition now? Okay, it's about time. We also wish to recognize the auditor from BDO, who will be assisting in the process of verifying the scores following tonight's competition. So, competition time. Moment you've all been waiting for. A reminder that the students will present on the main topic, student prepared topic, and the impromptu topic. A reminder of the topic for this evening, the main topic. Our world is in a state of confusion as it tries to reconcile one's inalienable rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs, and the role of the state. So we begin by asking Lion Sumona to escort our participants out, save and except for the first participant, Mr. Alexander Cummings, who will remain with us as we get ready for competition. And we wish to welcome SVG Television, who is joining us just in time to take our competition live tonight. A reminder as well that during the course of the presentations, we ask that you remain as quiet as possible so that the judges can hear clearly what the presenters are saying. And of course, we'd have a smooth transition between the speakers tonight. So we're ready now. Student prepared speech will come, but first our main topic. I invite at this time to appear in position number 1, Mr. Alexander Cummings of the St. Martin Secondary School, to present the main topic.
Thank you.
So yes, if you're now tuning in, we're coming to you live from the Methodist Church Hall, Kingstown, at the Lions Club St. Vincent South National Secondary School Public Speaking Competition 2024.
Chairperson, Honorable Fitzgerald Bramble, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingstown, Mr. Wayne Hull, Country Manager, Flow St. Vincent and Grenadines, Mrs. Mavis Finley Joseph, Senior Education Officer for Primary Schools, Administrative Education and National Reconciliation, other government officials, representatives of the United Nations Eastern Caribbean Area, Lion Janelle George, President of the Lions Club St. Vincent South, other distinguished Lions and Leos, principals and teachers, judges, the media, listeners and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow participants and students, good evening. There is a popular metaphor used by my parents to humble me when my expectations sometimes exceed my reality. It says, life is not a bed of roses. To suggest that our world today is in a state of confusion without first expressing that global confusion is a permanent state of our human existence is to do injustice in describing our times. According to the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, inalienable rights refer to rights such as life, liberty, and dignity that every human deserves. It further explains that civil liberties are protections from government interference, like freedom of speech and privacy, while religious beliefs are those deeply personal value systems that act as a moral compass and shapes one's identity. Mr. Chairman, I wish to submit that the struggles to reconcile one's inalienable rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs, and the role of the state is not a new phenomenon. Imagine if the question posited in tonight's topic were asked of Adam in the book of Genesis. Was it Eve's right to choose what to eat and what not to eat? Was it her freedom to pick from any tree? Should anyone have prevented her from eating any fruit of her choice? Mr. Chairman, her open revolt as far back as the creation story shows that confusion is inherent to the tapestry of our society. So, in our local parlance, is long time confusion start. Let us fast forward to 1789 to Paris, France. To the French revolutionaries, there was a fight for the liberty, equality, and fraternity against despotic leadership. The American and Haitian revolutions are further examples which prove that the fight for civil liberties, inalienable rights, and religious beliefs created mass confusion as the world sought to reconcile them amidst their suppression by the state. Mr. Chairman, I'm certain that I've laid the foundation to prove that confusion has existed throughout time. Of late, the world was engaged in the controversy surrounding the LGBTQ plus community as they suffer a backlash of social hostility, violence, and legislative restrictions. UN Women reported in 2023 that of the 54 countries studied, anti-LGBTQ plus hate crimes increased by 42% in frequency and brutality, with the year 2022 recorded as their most violent. Similarly, the American Psychological Association documented that in 2023 alone, over 500 anti-LGBTQ plus bills were passed in the United States, citing that they targeted the most intimate parts of the people's lives and infringed on one's freedom to make decisions. Closer to home, a similar decision was made in February of this year when the High Court of St. Vincent and the Grenadines upheld laws criminalizing same-sex sexual activities. This is despite the best efforts made by the group Equal Rights, Access and Opportunities SVG, which championed the cause of the community through the historic Pride SVG celebrations and similar events. However, Mr. Chairman, it is not the first time in history that homosexual expressions have emerged in contradiction to state practice. This confusion that many tout as peculiar to our period was outlined in the book of Genesis in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. The story underscores the very state of confusion our world faces as societies worldwide grapple with laws, policies, and debates that aim to respect personal freedoms while reconciling them with deeply held moral and religious convictions. Mr. Chairman, it is passing strange that the more things change, the more they remain the same. In addition, tonight's conversation will be found wanting without the inclusion of the controversial issue of the COVID-19 vaccine mandate meted out by our state in response to the COVID-19 global pandemic. You want to talk about confusion? About a year after the announcement by the World Health Organization, our government took steps to protect the health and safety of its citizens by signing into law the SRNO number 28 of 2021. It mandated all frontline workers, primarily civil servants, to take the vaccine or face dismissal. On the one hand, the government deemed that the urgent need at that point in time required the curtailment of civil liberties to avoid a health and economic crisis. On the other hand, citizens felt, rightly so, that it infringed upon personal freedoms and religious beliefs. Hundreds of civil servants were dismissed, and hundreds more felt that they took the vaccine under duress only to maintain their jobs. The result? A fractured relationship between the state and its citizens. Mr. Chairman, pray tell, where before have we heard this all too familiar tale? Was it not the European powers that justified the enslavement and exploitation of African and indigenous peoples in the Caribbean and later brought state-enforced systems that denied enslaved people the rights to freedom, assembly, education, and family life? The result? Oh, believe you me, it is passing strange that the more things change, the more they remain the same. Mr. Chairman, I draw your attention to the Dread Act of Dominica, formerly known as the Prohibited and Unlawful Societies and Associations Act of 1974. That legislation was implemented in response to rising tensions between the Dreads, largely Rastafarians, and Dominica's government and society. Under this act, anyone deemed a Dread could be arrested without a warrant, and wearing dreadlocks was criminalized. It gave the police a right to shoot any Rastaman upon sight. In fact, the Dominica Chronicles between 1970 and 1980 gave account of extrajudicial killings of individuals merely suspected of being part of the Dread community. Thankfully, we have come a long way, or have we? Today, the right to wear my hair in a style that pleases me is still a problem in my school and others. Evidence shows that in 2018, Barbados' ban on natural hairstyles like afros and braids sparked public outcry. Barbados Today reported that the schools had state backing to the Ministry of Education's policy framework, which mandates conformity with traditional grooming standards for students. Confusion? Mr. Chairman, at the humble age of 14, I do not see confusion. In fact, it is overly simplistic to just say that our world is confused. What I see is humans trying to coexist. It is only natural then that there will be conflicts. The question then begs to be asked, what is the state's role in helping us to reconcile such deep-seated conflict between traditional value systems and emerging norms? Chapter 1, Section 1 of our Constitution defines the state in general terms as the governing authority responsible for establishing and maintaining laws, rights, and obligations for all citizens within its jurisdiction. Its role, in part, is to maintain order, ensure justice, and implement public policy reflecting a system that is democratic. Throughout history, governance in our little islands took various forms. In some cases, indigenous groups like our Carib chiefs held authority over their communities in St. Vincent and Dominica. Similarly, the Maroons in Jamaica created a form of self-governance with leaders known as colonels, and at one point, the church played a major role in governance in colonies like Haiti, where they wielded significant power on political and social aspects of life. Evidently, Mr. Chairman, right, excuse me, the state is a creature of time. Just as our norms and values evolve over time, it too would outlive its usefulness. However, its role remains unchanged. It is not the state's role to police personal beliefs. It is not the state's role to be a moral enforcer. And it is certainly not the state's role to be the gatekeeper of rights. Inalienable rights are just that, untouchable. Mr. Chairman, in this climate of revolt, we need a solution-driven approach to address these inherent conflicts, and as such, I proffer the following recommendations. Firstly, we need a multifaceted approach to addressing conflicts in our world. Our community group leaders, policymakers, protagonists, and antagonists need to sit at a non-partisan table and address the issues that we face. The heavy-handed approach by the state will only lead to chaos, revolt, and further confusion. Secondly, citizens must be given the opportunity to voice their opinions without fear and have civil discussions around the pros and cons of different value systems. Thirdly, update existing laws to align with international human rights standards. Regular reviews give the assurance that citizens' rights will be preserved as far as possible. This improves transparency and accountability and helps to prevent abuses of power. In conclusion, Mr. Chairman, when policy bulldozes individuality, we risk breeding resentment, stifling potential, and leaving citizens feeling as though our voices are muted by the very institutions meant to empower us. Our world is in a state of confusion as it grapples with these issues of rights, religion, freedom, and governance, but that confusion need not lead to conflict. Through dialogue, education, and balanced governance, we can find solutions that respect personal freedoms, encourage diverse perspectives, and limit government overreach. Thank you.
Angie, well, you heard it from the crowd
Thank you very
itself.
much.
Yes.
Speaker Alexander Cummings of St. Martin
Young
Secondary
Alexander
School, and
kicked it off with a
he spoke for
stiff competition.
Yes, clear voice, confident demeanor.
Alexander spoke for 9 minutes 24 seconds.
Yes, so
He
you
spoke
heard it.
for
He spoke for
Right,
9
9
minutes
microphones
34 seconds.
good. Okay. So are we ready for participant
Yes,
number
he
two?
showed some confidence,
All right.
you
Again,
know,
the supporters on the
articulation,
side there.
well,
Sandy Bay Secondary School.
uh,
Welcome, Macy Batiste.
well presented speech. I didn't know about the dreads in Dominica. Wow, that's a new.
Yes, he touched on Dominica, Haiti, Barbados, Jamaica, different trends. And I liked that he started with giving a journey through history. He went as far as started from the Bible, where the
Yes,
confusion was, and he traveled through history through different regions.
correct. We now go to the podium for
Chairperson,
Macy
Honorable
Batiste, Sandy Bay
Fisher
Secondary
Bramble,
School.
Parliamentary Representative for East Kingston, Mr. Wayne Hall, Country Manager, Flow SVG, Mrs. Mavis Finley Joseph, Senior Education Officer for Primary Schools, Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation, other government officials, representatives of the United Nations, Eastern Caribbean Area, Lion Janelle George, President Lions Club St. Vincent South, other distinguished Lions and Leos, principals and teachers, judges, the media, listeners and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow participants and students, good evening. Anti-Semitic incidents reach new heights. Beauty Queen Row exposes xenophobia towards immigrants in South Africa. These are but two recent headlines from international news outlets. Chairperson, this is by no means a new situation for mankind. The Declaration of the Rights of Man, approved by the National Assembly of France, August 26, 1789, was one that had the impact of not only changing French society, but shaping other nationalist movements globally and inspiring the creation of constitutions to follow. Despite a movement which at its very core aimed at separation of state and church, the Declaration and subsequent constitution fostered a marriage of rights based on religious principles. Chairperson, this question before us this evening is one that proves to be multifaceted. How can we reconcile our inalienable rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs, and the role of the state? Our world is undeniably in a state of confusion, as these elements often operate in disharmony. Our modern world is therefore struggling to answer an almost unanswerable question, as terms such as rights, freedom, beliefs, and governance are understood differently, person to person and society to society. To begin, let us interrogate the term inalienable rights. These God given rights are inherent and cannot be taken away. When the founding fathers of the United States wrote, "All men are created equal," in the Declaration of Independence, this line was highly debated. It seemed to apply mainly to Anglo Saxon men, ignoring women, Native Americans, enslaved Africans, and other migrant groups who helped build America. Yet, the broader understanding is that all humans deserve respect, dignity, and freedom to pursue their own path. Chairperson, civil liberties, on the other hand, protect individuals from government oppression and include freedoms like speech, religion, assembly, protest, and the press. Yet these freedoms are not absolute. They must respect the rights of others. For example, freedom of speech does not give us the right to defame or harm others with our words. Here we see a potential conflict between civil liberties and inalienable rights, a conflict further complicated by cultural and societal differences. For example, some may argue that promoting abortion protections infringes on the rights to life. Chairperson, the different values and beliefs circulating today in our communities and the wider world adds even more to the state of confusion. Additionally, religious beliefs in our society are central to our understanding of morality and justice, guiding our conscience and helping us discern right from wrong. Yet, in a world of diverse religious traditions, confusion often thrives. The World Religion Database identifies 18 main categories of religions, including atheists and agnostics. According to the World Population Review, Christianity, with approximately 2.38 billion followers, is the largest religion, but is deeply diversified into numerous denominations. Islam, with about 1.91 billion adherents, follows as the second largest. Meanwhile, nearly 1.2 billion people worldwide, particularly in regions like Japan and China, are unaffiliated with any religion or identify as atheists. With all of these dimensions, Chairperson, we encounter conflict as every society and religious entity presents differing interpretations of rights and freedoms. Chairperson, it is this issue of interpretations that adds the final layer of complexity to this question, as very often we see tensions emerging within our world that the state must therefore navigate. The role of the state is to reconcile these tensions by creating an environment where rights but liberties are secured and religious beliefs are respected. Further confusion is added to the mix, as the state, in its attempts to enforce law and order, is at times guilty of infringing on the rights, liberties, and religious beliefs of its members. Globally, we all have evidence of the impact of this confusion. Chairperson, autocratic regimes in Hungary, Russia, China, Chile have been known to suppress dissent in the name of protection of the state. Locally, we have seen the consequences of the state's enforcement of the vaccine mandate during the pandemic. In other places, internal movements have likewise presented challenges to safety and operations of the state, such as are being witnessed in the Middle East. We also have evidence movements that have changed the state, such as civil rights protests and sit-ins in the US, the movement against an apartheid, and in recent times, the Black Lives Matter movement. How have we, as modern nations, found ourselves in the position where we are now trying to reconcile our religious beliefs with civil rights as a society? It appears that the religious grip that once held the world is loosening as secular thought becomes more prevalent. The conflict between religious beliefs and civil rights is clearly evident as they continue to contradict one another. Citizens must be guided on how to respect others' rights and liberties in accordance with the state while enjoying our own rights. Is it possible for some common ground to be achieved in this global confusion? Chairperson, we must engage in civil dialogue. It is crucial to give citizens the opportunity to share and show respect for differing perspectives. While the United Nations seeks to provide this space globally, ordinary individuals must resist the urge to always be right. I strongly believe that change can emerge if, in the communication process, we practice empathetic listening rather than trying to prepare responses while others are talking. We must seek first to understand than to be understood and try to see where compromise is achievable. Furthermore, there is a greater need to empower individuals on their rights and the rights of others. Never has there been a time in our world where we are seeing greater certification but more ignorance. Cultural biases are ingrained in individuals from a young age. There are very few of us who can sit here tonight and articulate our stand on abortion, LGBTQIA plus rights, COVID 19 vaccines, spiritual Baptists, without being guilty of making stereotypical inferences. Chairperson, we need to seek to learn more about others and their differences. Ultimately, as I stand here tonight, I would like to borrow from US presidential hopeful Kamala Harris. And I quote, "In this moment, we face a choice between two different visions for our nation. One focused on the future, the other focused on the past. I am fighting for our nation's future." End of quote. We must hold the state accountable for seeing to the interests of the people. We must also seek, as young people, to advance our civilization, to do better than our parents, our religious leaders, and our politicians. In coming to terms and developing a true understanding, mutual respect of others' inalienable rights, civil liberties, and religious beliefs while enjoying our own. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Was Macy Batiste from the Sandy Secondary School.
And the time,
Macy spoke for 9 minutes 34 seconds.
Yes.
as we give the judges a moment to transition to the
So
next
basically,
participant.
well,
North
she
Union
was
Secondary
confident
School,
in her
we have
presentation.
representatives, students, teachers
She
from North
also
Union here tonight.
referenced France as well, just like the youngster from St. Martin's Secondary.
So as soon as I
A
get the
lot of her
nod from the
content
judges, we'll proceed.
was
Just to remind you
international
that
content,
for
but
this, the main speech,
she touched like abortion, LGBT 19, spiritual Baptists, and she is Harris, and it's just ironic because right now the U.S. elections is in process.
I'm sure everybody picking between the two, right?
Right now, yes.
Johnson of the North Union Secondary School.
So we have coming up next, Johnson, Kyra Johnson of the North Union Secondary School.
And if you're now tuning in, we're bringing to you live the Lions Club St. Vincent South National Secondary School, a public speaking competition for 2024. We've heard from two competitors.
Chairperson, Honorable Fitzgerald Gramble, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingston. Mr. Wayne Hall, Country Manager, Flow SVG. Mrs. Marvis Findlay Joseph, Senior Education Officer for Primary Schools, Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation. Other government officials, representatives of the United Nations, Eastern Caribbean Area, Lion Janelle George, President Lions Club St. Vincent South, other distinguished Lions and Leos, principal, teachers, judges, the media, listeners and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow participants and students, good evening. Different colors, one people, different colors, one people. These words from the Lucky Dube song, Different Colors, remind us of our shared humanity despite our diverse backgrounds, beliefs, and values. But with human existence, there is a landscape of complexity. Hence, our world is in a state of confusion as it tries to reconcile one's inalienable rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs, and the role of the state. However, we must strike a balance in which the state's role is to mediate conflicts without undermining the values and freedom of equality. Let us first define the terms at the heart of this conversation. The United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights defines the following. Inalienable rights are fundamental human rights that cannot be transferred or surrendered. Civil liberties are personal guarantees and freedoms that the government cannot abridge without due process. And religious beliefs refer to personal convictions and faith systems. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines a state as a politically organized body that manages public resources, enforces laws, and provides security and protection to its people. These aspects are vital for the functioning of a free and just society. But when they pull together in different directions, they create friction. Chairperson, one of the foundational principles of modern societies is the protection of inalienable rights, those inherent to every human being. Yet, in reality, when civil liberties such as freedom of speech or expression come into play, conflicts arise. Chairperson, how should we navigate the conflict between the right to free speech and the potential harm that speech may cause? Can we genuinely assert that the protection of all speech, when it has the potential to incite violence or circulate misinformation? Take a visit with me to the courtroom. In the landmark case of Ellis versus United States, 2015, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld Anthony Ellis' conviction for making threatening Facebook posts. Ellis contended the First Amendment protect. He intended them as expressive rap lyrics rather than as threats. This case established a precedent that restricts free speech when it poses a clear and present danger to society. But this begs the question, Chairperson, is it fair to limit someone's freedom of expression to prevent harm to others? If the state intervenes too much in regulating speech, doesn't it risk undermining the very foundation of democracy by creating an atmosphere people are reluctant to speak their minds? Well, If we are to value both security and freedom, the state must act as a careful mediator when competing interests with fairness. Religious beliefs add another layer of complexity to this debate. Religious freedom is a deeply rooted inalienable right, allowing individuals to worship, follow, and live by their faith without interference from the state. On the other hand, this right occasionally clashes with civil liberties that safeguard individuals from discrimination. Chairperson, a prominent example of this tension is the debate over vaccinations. The state mandates vaccinations in many parts of the world to prevent the spread of infectious diseases like measles, and COVID 19 by promoting herd immunity and protecting populations who cannot receive vaccine interests. However, some individuals object to vaccinations on religious grounds, citing belief that prevent from participating them in certain medical interventions. Chairperson, this raises several relevant questions. When one group's beliefs contradict the civil liberties of others, who decides which takes precedence? Is it possible for the state to maintain neutrality, or will the power dynamics within the government undoubtedly favor one's ideology? As we grapple with these questions, it becomes evident that the state must act as a mediator. They must ensure that its public health policies do not unfairly target or suppress religious groups, while at the same time protecting health and safety to the broader population. Chairperson, the state faces significant challenges in reconciling inalienable rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs. Is it even possible for the state to mediate such deep seated and conflicting values? Or is confusion inevitable? One, one could argue that the diversity of human beliefs and experiences makes it impossible for any government to satisfy all its citizens. But does that mean the state should stop trying? Chairperson, as the world grows more interconnected, the need for a fair and balanced mediator has never been greater. First, it requires dialogue, open and respectful communication. Communities and state is essential. Philosopher John Rawls asserted in his theory of justice that prioritizing the rights of the least advantaged leads to achieving fairness in society. He said, and I quote, "We must engage in the conversation that include all voices, especially those who feel marginalized or oppressed by the state policies or dominant religious practices." End of quote. Ultimately, fostering such dialogue is vital for creating a more and just society for equitable where every right is heard and valued. Secondly, Chairperson, it requires compromise and flexibility. The philosopher Isaiah Berlin spoke of the concept of value pluralism, the idea that there are many different values that humans may reasonably pursue and that these values may sometimes conflict. To live in a peaceful, pluralistic society, beliefs can be absolute. Therefore, laws and policies must adapt to the changing realities, finding creative ways to uphold both individual and collective rights. Lastly, Chairperson, we need leadership that embodies integrity. Justice and fairness must guide the state's actions in navigating these tensions. States must resist the temptation to overreach, avoiding authoritarian responses that strip individuals of their rights in the name of security or public order. Instead, they should create policies that protect inalienable rights while also respecting cultural and religious diversity among their populations. In conclusion, Chairperson, the state must rise while the world may be in a state of confusion, working together, citizens, governments, and religious communities, we can reconcile our differences and create a world where inalienable rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs, and the role of the state coexist in harmony. The differences we share do not have to be a source of conflict. Rather, they can be a strength. Our freedom to express, believe, and act must coexist in our responsibility to protect the rights and dignity of others. Lucky Dube songs remind us that despite our differences, we are still one people. Different colors, one people, different colors. People, I thank you.
Is competitor number 3, Kyra Johnson from the North.
North Union Secondary School.
Kyra spoke for 8 minutes 36 seconds.
8 minutes, 36 seconds. Very assertive she is. Convinced in what she's saying. Flexible voice, indeed.
That she started with a Lucky Dube song and she ended with a Lucky Dube
Yeah,
song.
that's one of my favorite artists, but it's not Lucky Dube night tonight anyhow.
Yes. As you said, Nikki, she's very passionate. Her theme throughout her speech was more about justice and fairness by the state.
And the diversity in beliefs, in human beliefs, make it impossible for any government to satisfy everyone. It's very hard. She also stated that the state must resist the temptation to overreach.
Yes, so we're preparing for competitor number 4, Jahim Primus of the St. Vincent Grammar School.
Live across several platforms, radio, television, and on social media. Also on the Lions Club St. Vincent South Facebook page, which you can see on the pull-up banner just behind us. So as we prepare for the next competitor, we ask that those who are responsible for the preparation of the other participants, we have coming up Mountain View Adventist Academy, represented by Samara Lynch, and Raj Bulls from the Dr. J.P. Eustace Memorial Secondary School will be appearing later on. Following this segment, we have the student-prepared topics and then the impromptu topics. So lots more in store. So are we ready? Just a moment. Okay. So just a moment as we prepare for our next
while we
participant.
await our next
And,
participant,
also
just
to
to
note as well for
remind
the
you the judging
speakers,
criteria of each, we have material 20 points,
Manner, 10 points.
language 10 points,
Voice, 10 points. A total of 50
points. And the main topic for today, our world is in a state of confusion as it tries to reconcile with one's inalienable rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs, and the role of the state.
That's the inalienable. Yes, we now welcome the St. Vincent Boys Grammar School, Jahim Primus.
Chairperson, Honorable Fitzgerald Bramble, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingston, Mr. Wayne Hall, Country Manager, Flow SVG, Mrs. Mavis Finley, Joseph, Senior Education Officer for Primary Schools and National Reconciliation, officials, representatives of the United Nations Eastern Caribbean Area, Lion Janelle George, President Lions Club, St. Vincent South, other distinguished Lions and Leos, principals and teachers, judges, the media, listeners and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow participants and students, good evening. Fear, defiance, anger, and confusion highlight the surge of intense emotions when citizens feel their humanity is threatened. Chairperson, tampering with fundamental rights is unsettling, igniting a compulsion to reclaim independence. This discomfort may escalate into fierce resilience as people protect the freedoms that define their existence. Globally, men's faces show strain and anxiety. The call for justice reverberates as our rights and freedoms are constantly on the chopping block. Ladies and gentlemen, our world today is undoubtedly in a state of confusion as it tries to reconcile one's inalienable rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs, and the role of the state. The complex interplay of individual rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs, and the state has existed since ancient times. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted by the United Nations in 1948, was the first legal document outlining our basic rights, such as the right to life, privacy, and protection. James Wilson defined these rights as inalienable, intrinsic to us, endowed by sovereign natural rights. The state cannot diminish or alter these rights. Civil liberties, including freedom of speech, freedom of the press, the right to vote, and religious liberty, protect citizens from arbitrary interference. Researcher Alex Nolman argued it's unlawful for the government to impede these rights. Many claim that such rights have been violated, highlighting the need for reconciliation. Chairperson, global crises like the COVID-19 pandemic unveil the tension between individual rights and collective action. Governments introduced lockdowns, mask mandation requirements, which was seen by many as infringing on liberties. World leaders insisted that these measures were necessary to protect public health. The complexity of upholding rights during crises was starkly highlighted. A contentious issue was the mandatory vaccination policy, which lawyer Maxwell Holder argued violated human rights but could be essential for public safety. The National Library of Medicine noted varied responses. While some nations adhered to government measures, others faced unrest and opposition, leading to mass confusion. Chairperson, Constitution appropriately potential threats. Yet, the COVID-19 vaccine mandate triggered hesitancy and opposition rooted in religious beliefs, medical concerns, and skepticism regarding vaccine effectiveness. This resistance was in keeping with individuals' right to life, liberty, and security. Holder stated, liberty includes applying medical treatment and enforcing unwanted procedures infringes on personal security. However, the pandemic can be traded. Consequently, many public servants in Europe, Asia, Central America, Canada, and the Caribbean became jobless for refusing vaccinations, contributing to the current widespread confusion that demands urgent attention. The Vincentian newspaper reported that the dismissal of numerous teachers, public servants, healthcare workers, and police officers in SVG has ignited debates surrounding individual rights, public safety, and the government's role in health matters. With many teachers compelled to leave the class, our children's right to education face serious violations. Additionally, the police force's operational efficiency was undoubtedly hindered, raising public safety and personal security concerns. Chairperson, despite these negative impacts, the government remains steadfast in its stance. Moreover, Justice Esco Henry ruled that the special measures set forth under statutory rules and orders 28 of 2021, which include the vaccine mandate law, were unlawful and void. Nonetheless, the local government appealed this ruling. Ladies and gentlemen, when will this struggle come to an end? Civil liberties are freedoms guaranteed by law, often through constitutional provisions. Chairperson, it's ironic we are discussing these matters on the night of the US presidential election. Candidates Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have clashed over human rights issues. This political tug-of-war has polarized citizens, sparked debates, and ignited protests and violent upheavals where rights are believed to be threatened. For instance, the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment includes the right to privacy that protects a woman's choice to elect an abortion. However, this is a contentious issue regarding government interest in protecting women's health and the potentiality of human life. While many celebrated the Supreme Court's decision to overturn the constitutional right to abortion, former President Obama opined that it reversed decades of precedent, putting a deeply personal choice in politicians' hands and undermining the freedoms of millions. Chairperson, doctors, nurses, and activists in Ontario recently opposed the abortion ban, sparking a debate on women's reproductive rights. In the Dominican Republic, the government's criminalization of abortion conflicts with international human rights obligations, jeopardizing rights to life, health, freedom from degrading treatment, and privacy. Also, in most European states, the decision to continue or terminate a pregnancy is solely up to the woman, despite different religious views. Given these tensions, we must consider, are advocates for legal abortion violating the right to life or protecting women's rights? What a conundrum. Another issue that has thrown the world into perplexity, Chairperson, is the civil right to marriage. Chief Justice Al Warren stated, the freedom to marry has long been recognized as one of the vital personal rights essential to the orderly pursuit of happiness. While many hold heterosexual relationships in high esteem, others fight for their right to marry anyone as part of exercising civil rights. This view is upheld by Article 8 of the Human Rights Act, which affirms the right to live privately and determine one's sexual orientation and lifestyle. However, this civil right conflicts with the religious beliefs of those upholding the biblical view of Christianity. For instance, in 2022, the US government fined bakers Melissa and Aaron Klein for refusing to make a gay couple. The US government fined bakers Melissa and Aaron Klein $135,000 for refusing to make a cake for a gay couple based on their beliefs, citing discrimination laws. But what about the rights of this Christian couple? Weren't they being ignored and trampled on? The world's complexities and chaos demand urgent discussion. Grave concerns, including social unrest and political upheaval in China, the Middle East, South Sudan, and Caribbean and Latin American nations like Haiti, Guyana, and Venezuela, echo the cry for political freedoms. The battle for religious liberties fosters conflicts and persecution in North Korea, Somalia, and Libya, casting dark shadows on human rights. Chairperson, reconciling confusions around inalienable rights, religious beliefs, and civil liberties is complex. Our goal is a society harmoniously. We must respect diversity, balance civil liberties with social responsibilities, and engage in constant dialogue about modern freedoms and communal well-being. Education and open discussions amongst leaders and citizens are essential. Reconciliation requires a gradual, collective effort to foster understanding, respect, and support laws protecting individual freedoms and the common good. As we approach Human Rights Day on December 10th, let us heed Nelson Mandela's words. To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
And that was competitor number 4, Jaheem Primus of the St. Vincent Grammar School.
Jaheem spoke for 9 minutes, 40 seconds.
Yes, 9 minutes, 40 seconds.
Just a moment to give the judges some time to
Spoke at a steady pace. I had a little
Competitor,
stutter,
Mountain View
in between,
Adventist
but
Academy, are you here tonight?
very good presentation nonetheless. You also spoke of the vaccination mandate, issued by many governments globally. Made it clear that these rights
works.
can be traded for
In this
public
They Could Be
safety.
Prepared rather segment,
Yes, I do
first
agree with
bell
you. I
when the
realize
participants takes
that
the podium, that
thus
would
far
signal the
all
start of
four
the presentation.
competitors have
The
spoken
second bell will
about
go at 8
the
minutes,
vaccine
and the third
mandate.
bell,
They
which is the final
also
bell, will go
touched
at 10
issues
minutes.
on the LGBTQ
For the student
plus.
prepared, which is the next
And
segment, we'll have
with
first
this
bell when
particular
the
young man,
participant takes the
he
podium and they're ready
ended
to
with a
present.
quote
The second
from
bell will come at a
Nelson
4-minute
Mandela,
mark, and the
and I
third bell,
think that
which is the
quote
final bell,
supported the
at
rest of
5
his
minutes.
speech, the
So
main point
participants
that
take
he was
note of
trying
that for your
to
next
bring
round of
out there.
competition
Once again, another
as we
confident
prepare for
presentation
the
with a bit of,
next
nerves kicking in
participant.
at
We
the
also want
end.
to give
It's
you
not
a
easy,
reminder
Angie.
of
It's
It
not
our
easy
isn't.
at all.
It
project, an
isn't.
upcoming project
I
by
commend
the
them
Lions Club St. Vincent
for,
South,
being
and
there
that
on
is
stage
the
doing that.
Breast Cancer Awareness
You know,
Headache Free Breast
I
Examination,
perform, I
taking
play
place between
music,
November
and every
11th
time I
and
go on
the
stage,
16th.
and I've been playing music since
And
I'm
this is
7 years
being
old.
done
Every
in
time I go to
association
perform, I'm
with the
nervous.
Better Health Center.
You know,
So
I thought that
for
was,
those who are interested
me
in that,
alone.
you can
But
call for
speaking
appointments. This is,
to,
of course, a courtesy
people
of
like
the Lions Club St.
experienced
Vincent
musicians,
South.
like
For appointments, you can write this number
they
down,
will say, it's not you alone. It still happens to
529-8048,
me.
and that
So
is the next project being
yeah, to go up
undertaken
there
by
and
the
do
Lions
something like
Club
this is
St.
a
Vincent
real
South as we
task
continue to
at
serve
hand.
I agree with
46
you,
years
Nikki.
on.
Like,
Are
I
you ready for
play
the next
pan
participant?
all these years and I'm playing with a band, not by myself. And the nerves still hit me on stage. So for these youngsters
Right,
to
so
be on stage
what we'll
giving a
do
speech
is that we'll
trying to
take a
capture
quick, all
the
right,
attention
Of the
of the
before we
audience.
continue.
audience
Okay, so we'll take
and
that break right after this round of
to,
competition. So let's get ready
keep
to
the
welcome
crowd
Mountain View
motivated,
Adventist
because we
Academy,
know
Samara
it's
Lynch, our next
8:49
competitor.
Yes.
and some people are already in bed, like myself. But we now welcome Samara Lynch from the Mountain View Academy, Adventist Academy.
Yes. You think she could reach up the podium? She's a little shortish.
Chairperson, Honorable Fitzgerald Bramble, Preliminary Representative for East Kingston, Mr. Wayne Hall, Country Manager, Flow SVG, Mrs. Mavis Finley Joseph, Senior Educational Officer for Primary Schools, Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation, other government officials, representatives of the United Nations East Caribbean Area, Lion Janelle George, Lions Club St. Vincent South, principals and teachers, other distinguished Lions and Leos, judges, the media, listeners and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow participants and students, good evening. Chairperson, throughout history, as it relates to the existence of man, there are four elements that have always been in conflict. To a great extent, they are forever competing against each other. In our world today, the tension between these four competing priorities have reached a critical boiling point. Do we have to give up one or more to hold on to the others? If so, what is the least important? Who is rightly qualified to determine what must go and what must stay? These and other critical questions have certainly justified the need for tonight's debate on the topic. Our world today is in a state of confusion as it tries to reconcile one's inalienable rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs, and the role of the state. Before I attempt to discuss such weighty issues, let me establish a few key definitions that will provide both the base and the context on which my main points will be hinged. Firstly, Chairperson, what are inalienable rights? According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, inalienable rights are, and I quote, the rights that are incapable of being alienated, surrendered, or transferred. These are rights considered to be inherent and cannot be taken away or given up, often seen as a fundamental to all human beings, end of quote. In essence, Chairperson, these are the basic rights and freedoms that all human beings are entitled to, and they include such things as the right to life, religious liberty, and definitely the right to pursue true happiness. Secondly, civil liberties. Quoting from the civil liberties is arbitrary governmental interference, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and the right to a fair trial, specifically by denial of all governmental power. End quote. Religious beliefs. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines religious beliefs and, I quote, beliefs that relate to or manifest a faith or worship in a higher power or divine entity, end of quote. Because of its broad scope, role of the state does not have a specific definition. It simply refers to the duties, responsibilities, and functions that a government or nation state performs in society. This includes areas such as law enforcement, public policy, economic regulations, national defense, and the protection of citizens' rights and freedoms. Unfortunately, Chairperson, in many countries, these rights and freedoms are trampled upon. In the United States, the Bill of Rights is enshrined in the Constitution. Unfortunately, there are many countries where the majority of citizens do not enjoy such privileges. One is left to wonder, given the right crisis, if the same can happen in the United States. According to the Calypsonian Gracie, we will know the answer to this in time to come. In the meantime, let's take a look at a few scenarios. 1. Inalienable rights versus state authority. A state passes laws that infringe on the rights of individuals or groups. Some say it is necessary, for others label it as injustice. Who is right? Hamas, for example, Chairperson. A militant Islamic group in Gaza attacked Israel on October 7, 2023. They did some terrible things in retaliation to what they claim to be the oppression they have suffered at the hands of Israel since 1948. Israel declared war and has since killed at least 40,000 Palestinians, the majority being women and children. The whole country was punished for the actions of a few. Israel calls it self-defense. Other many countries call it genocide. A similar during the COVID pandemic. Certain governments encouraged all citizens to take the COVID vaccine. Civil servants were mandated to take the COVID vaccine of losing their jobs. Some workers refused to take the vaccine, going against their religious beliefs or an infringement on their inalienable rights. What happened? They were placed on the breadline. Did this happen in SVG? Who can say for certainty that it will not happen again? Till an effective confusion and hurt remain. Scenario 2. Inalienable rights. Just recently in Iran, some women convinced they had the right to wear the hijab, a head covering worn by females, refused to wear it in public. They were severely punished. Chairperson, permit me to bring it closer to home. In our Western culture, a good example of the confusion and the tension that exists between inalienable rights and religious beliefs is the LGBTQ movement's clash with religious doctrines. Although a large number went over backwards to accommodate the LGBTQ movement, there are many within Muslim and Christian faiths LGBTQ couples and gender identity in schools. The conflict deepens when one or both sides want to impose their beliefs and way of life on the other. I personally got lost somewhere between forbidden pronouns and the inability to clearly say who is a woman or a man. I am sure that we would have all seen a male who by all definitions is definitely a male. But for some reason yet to be explained to me, he wants us to refer to him as a she. You don't understand what I said? I'm so confused. I am quite comfortable with the fact that a boy that goes bathroom simply because he feels he is a girl. With all these ensuing confusions, Chairperson, there are other critical questions. What is the role of the state? How does the state guarantee that there is civil order, public safety, and justice for all, no matter your status within society? In an effort to answer these and other crucial questions, they often find itself in a situation where it has to not only restrict, but in times eradicate essential rights and freedoms. So good. Things can become more complex if you dare to ask the question, are there visible entities that can influence or even control the state machinery for their benefits? Something to think about. Chairperson, let's consider for a minute although created to prevent individuals and vulnerable groups within society from being marginalized, they also create a serious laws that allow for freedom of expression. The adult mind is now forced to be all in. Can the state an iron fist approach on the rights and freedoms of the individual and yet remain within the boundaries of equality and justice? If the pressure created by this iron fist is too great, the state will easily be perceived as being authoritarian. On the other hand, if the state is not as vigilant as it should be, they will and fails to put essential watchdogs, there will societal instability, if not chaos. Suggestion towards reconciliation, Chairperson, is for the state to have open and honest dialogue between all branches of the government and civil society. Public education then becomes crucial as individuals and groups are made aware of their inalienable rights and freedoms. With an informed society comes empathy, tolerance, and respect for the rights of others. This is done, there will be less confusion and establishment of reconciliation. In conclusion, Chairperson, there is definitely chaos and confusion in our world as governments and states grapple with the daunting task to reconcile civil liberties and religious beliefs while trying to create a delicate balance. Tensions have certainly been passed on from generation to generation in respect to these issues. I sincerely believe that through open communication and dialogue, a legal framework that ensures and community education, we can foster a society where harmony and justice are paramount. This can ultimately lessen the confusion in our world. We can look forward to the day where there can be a better understanding of our inalienable rights. Civil liberties can be the order of the day. Religious beliefs can be tolerated, and the state can be the cohesive glue that keeps it all together. I pray fervently for that day, and so should you. Chair, I thank you.
That was Samara Lynch of the Mountain View Adventist Academy.
Lynch of the Mountain View Adventist Academy.
Samara spoke for 9 minutes, 30 seconds.
That's 9 minutes, 30 seconds.
We're preparing for the next
A good
competitor.
injection of humor in her discussion of the LGBTQ plus community, certainly capturing the confusion felt by many
The
of
first
us.
bell when the participant takes to the podium. after
Yes,
selecting
she was
his or her topic, and they do
confident
so
in
from an
her
envelope.
presentation, I must
You'll
say.
see it later on.
And
The second bell
she
will be at
stated
the end
that
of the
the
first
state
minute,
should have a
which is
balance.
when
It
the
needs to
participant
be
is expected
vigilant,
to
just
begin
as
the
it needs
presentation.
to be
And
able
the third
to
and final bell
act.
at the end of the
Yes.
third minute. So a total of
Wow.
3 minutes.
I don't want to be a judge for
spent at
tonight's
the podium, 1
No.
minute
competition
to
at all.
prepare, and
This
2
topic,
minutes to
this
present.
main topic, I must
We
say,
have a
is a
final
loaded
competitor, and then
topic.
we
It's
will
it's
allow the
it's
judges to take a
provoking,
quick break as we get ready for the
provocative.
next part of the competition. So I believe we
Minutes is not enough
the
to
No.
deliberate on this.
competitor
Yeah.
for this evening.
We could talk with this topic would be.
One of the
Hey, we
judges
gotta
just to have a
look for
quick bathroom break.
sponsorship to do that.
So just to remind
We
you,
might have to
while we
have
do that,
episode
that
1 through
Yeah.
8.
the points
Yeah.
allocated for the next category of competition.
So yes, if you're now
The
tuning in, we're here at
material,
the
15
Lions
points.
Club South Public
Anna, 5
Speaking
points.
Competition,
Language, 5 points.
sponsored
and
by
voice,
Flow.
all of
Lions
13. That's for the next
Club
competition.
No, the
South.
Flow Lions.
No,
No.
Lions
I'll
Club
be taking
St.
that
Vincent
bathroom break
South
at the end of
Flow
this round.
National Secondary School
Just awaiting
Public
the
Speaking
next
Competition
competitor.
2024.
I stand
Raj
corrected.
Balls
Yes.
from the Dr. J.P. Eustace Memorial Secondary School will be
So yes, we have the final competitor,
Raj
Bells, from
of
the
Dr.
Dr. J.P. Eustace Memorial Secondary School.
So we'll just give our judge a moment.
And just a reminder that this is the first segment of tonight's
we just want to
competition, which is
remind
the
you of
main
the judges. They're all
topic.
here
topic.
tonight. Mr. Kesley Cambridge,
And the
Mrs. Simone
criteria, we have
Joseph
material
Oliver,
20
Mr. Richie Leland,
points,
Manner 10 points.
Language,
Voice, 10 points.
a total of 50 points. Then we should be having a short break,
Break, yes.
and then it will be followed by the student prepared
Again, welcome to all
speech.
of those who are joining us by way
And
of
our main
radio
topic
and television. We're across
is
several platforms. The National
our world
Broadcasting
is in a
Corporation,
state of
Nice
confusion
Radio, and
as it
BFM.
tries
They're
to
all taking this live
reconcile
on radio,
one's
television,
inalienable
VC3
rights,
television, 114,
civil
channel
liberties,
114. They're
religious
taking
beliefs, and the role of the
event live
state.
tonight.
Wow, that
And
word is
of course,
just.
SVG Television joined in on the broadcast as well. We
Yes,
welcome
such a
them,
heavy
and
topic
we
for
hope that
tonight.
you are enjoying
And
the
we've
competition
heard from
thus
5
far.
competitors. We have
And
final
then later on, we'll have the
competitor,
impromptu.
Raj Bowles.
And after we complete with the main topic, we'll
Just a
go
reminder that
to
our
the
judges are for tonight
student-prepared
Mr.
speech,
Kesley
which
Cambridge,
is valued
Mrs.
at
Simone
30
Joseph
points.
Olivier,
Mr. Richie Maitland,
So,
Mingo,
here tonight, we're glad
and
that you could
Mr.
take the time to be
Kenson
here. So good to see
Stoddard.
all of your faces, and we know that
and
there
they're
were other
vying for
competing
the
events of interest,
The Michael De
including the
Freitas
elections in the United States,
challenge
which I'm sure many
Challenge
of you are
Trophy.
checking
Yes.
on your devices as well.
Yes, and announced
which
by
we
the
will
country
know the
manager
outcome
for Flow,
in due course.
all the finalists are
We
gonna
are
get
grateful to see you all
handset
here
devices,
supporting.
Samsung.
See the
Get a
hands of the
2-year
teachers,
scholarship
all the teachers here
for the
supporting the
St. Anna
schools.
Grenadines Community
Community
All
College.
College
right, lots of teachers here from
And
all
there
over
are
the
also
schools.
scholarships
It's
for
good
the
to see
second
each and every
and
one of
third
you.
place.
as well.
And
Yes.
the
And
Can I
winning
hear
school
it?
see
Any parents in the audience? Parents and teachers?
$3,000.
For
All
a
right,
project
that
or
went up
something?
great.
Yes, well, he was just stating that the
Those
St.
who are just here to
Vincent
support.
Grammar School used their printing project,
All right,
printing room
hope that you
project.
all
Yes.
enjoy
So he's hoping that
thus
the
far.
other schools would do.
Strong
Yes.
competition.
I remember there were
And tonight
13
we
schools
have
in 4
three
zones in the preliminary round
categories:
on the
main,
16th and
student prepared,
18th of
and
October at the
impromptu.
French's
And
house.
our
And out of
timekeepers, John,
we
you hear announcing the time.
So we had first Alexander
And,
Cummins
Lion
from the
Sharon is the
St.
one that
Martin's
bell.
Secondary School.
the Baptiste of the Sandy Bay
individuals are.
Secondary School,
Kyra Johnson
Want to,
Union
of
Secondary
course,
School.
remind
Jahim
those who
Primus
are
of the St. Vincent
viewing as well
Grammar School,
that
And we
we still
just
have a
heard
long way to
from
go in the
Samara
two
Lynch of the
categories
Mountain
remaining.
View
And we hope that
Adventist
you're able to
Academy,
stay
and
with
we're
us
getting ready
and take in
for
those very
Raj
interesting
Bowles.
of the
segment
Dr. J.P.
coming up as well. I know
Eustace
that is
Memorial
a highly
Secondary
anticipated
School.
part of the competition, and I
We take
do know
you
that
to the
our
podium
competitors
to
appear to be
listen to
ready
Lion
and raring to
Colvin
go to deliver
Harry.
to
Harry.
you tonight something interesting and entertaining at the same time, I hope, to keep your interest going and keep. All right, so are we ready to proceed, or we still have to await our judge to return? We want to ensure that all of our benefit of judges all been here in the hall, and we'll just allow a few to the hall. Thanks again to BDO for being in charge of the auditing tonight. All right, ready for the Dr. J.P. Houston Memorial Secondary School, Raj Bowles.
Chairperson, Honorable Fitzgerald Bramble, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingston, Mr. Wayne Hall, Country Manager, Flow SVG, Mr. Mavis Finley Joseph, Senior Educator Officer for Primary Schools, Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation, other government representatives of the United Nations area, Lion Janelle George, President Lions Club, St. Vincent South, other distinguished Lions and Leons, principals, teachers, judges, the media, listeners and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow participants and students, good evening. As humanity confronts countless complex challenges, the issue before us demands our unwavering attention. Tonight's topic, a source that confusion raises, this mental question: how do we reconcile alienable rights, religious beliefs, and the role of the state? The need to harmonize is much more than excellent. It is a grave reality with significant implications. A multifaceted matter examination. Permit me to arrest your attention as we investigate this apparent conundrum. Chairperson, esteemed audience, proceed. I would like to emphasize that our mindset, the collection of beliefs and attitudes which each of us decides to adopt, determines how we make sense of the world. The word confusion, the dictionary, suggests mental uncertainty or a state in which everything is out of order. While some lament that the world is engulfed in confusion, my mindset compels me to respectfully challenge this perspective. On the contrary, I perceive what we are experiencing not as confusion, but rather as a struggle which can mindsets grounded in clarity, conviction, and commitment to our core principles. Firstly, let us consider inalienable rights. According to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was adopted by the United Nations in 1948, these rights to life, food, health, work, liberty, among others, are inherent to our humanity. They are universal, which means that we are all entitled to them. They are also inalienable, that is, they should not be removed except in the context of due process. For example, if the court finds you guilty of a crime, incarceration will be justifiable restriction on your right to freedom. Mr. Chairman, inalienable rights are not mere legal abstractions, nor concessions bestowed by the state. They are indispensable to our humanity. They are the bedrock of our societies, and we cannot allow confusion to weaken the structure. Could you accept a world where personal freedoms are rationalized from a mindset of confusion? A world where for conformity, where rights that for humanity are considered acceptable. Our rights demand clarity and confusion. Civil liberties are individual rights enshrined in constitutions and protected by law from state interference. The American Civil Liberties Union explains civil liberties as, and I quote, personal freedoms that belong to individuals reflecting our democratic society, end of quote. These freedoms, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion, the right to privacy, demonstrate this disparity. The alleged confusion that some see in the world today indicates a lack of understanding of these significant liberties. Even so, we must acknowledge that rights and freedoms can vary when viewed through the filters of culture and processes. For instance, the tension between freedom of speech and the right to protest illustrates this disparity. Some consider these as vital expressions of individuality. Others reject them as threats to collective harmony. Furthermore, the exercise of these liberties, which many of us take for granted, is met with resistance in societies where the authorities prioritize control over freedom. Mr. Chairman, when government suffocates civil liberties under the mask of public order, democracy is unable to breathe. Let there be no confusion about this. On the matter of religious beliefs, the practice of one's chosen faith is an individual decision that should be respected and protected. Yet, the authorities often overstep their boundaries in trying to regulate spiritual practices. Who remember that spiritual Baptists and Rastafarians have faced in the past, thanks to the laws which penalize the expressions of faith? The exhaustion of state power on religious practices results in persecution, conflict, and division. On this critical issue, clarity is paramount as confusion sows discord and reaps distrust. Therefore, we must assert that our spiritual journeys are not be dictated. Let faith flourish. free from fear of state influence. The late U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg stated, and I quote, "Government should not be in the business of deciding which religious beliefs are valid and which are not." End of quote. Mr. Chairman, this brings us to the role of the state. Government is to serve us to our freedoms. Unfortunately, the government sometimes makes to it by the people. This creates an imbalance where control is concentrated and liberty diluted. As responsible citizens, we must be mindful that infringement on the rights of some is a threat to the rights of all. We should not entertain silence while the rights of others are violated. As the saying goes, today for me, tomorrow for you. Philosopher proposed the principles of individual rights and the separation of church and state. These principles constitute the foundation of our modern democratic systems. They emphasize that the government exists to serve the people, ensure justice, maintain order, and safeguard freedoms, while promoting the welfare of the society. The laws which are designed to protect citizens should never be wielded as tools of oppression. Let us not be confused. Let us insist that the state prioritize the interests of the people above all else. In the spirit of transparency, accountability, and unwavering commitment to justice and equality, let us remind our leaders that political authority derives from the consent of the governed, and that we, the people, are empowered to enforce accountability through the ballot box. In conclusion, let us reject we are adrift in a sea of confusion. Contrary, we are now that requires the GPS of clarity and conviction. With determination, we can face to defend our labor rights, protect our diverse beliefs, and demand a state that validates and violates these. Furthermore, conceding to the notion that the world is immersed in confusion over these issues tarnishes the legacies of those cases died for these liberties. Joseph Chatoyer, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi. Their struggle was not for an ambiguous interpretation of these issues. They demanded a just and equitable society. Let us honor their sacrifices and continue their legacy by refusing to submit to confusion. I reiterate that our present challenges are not confusion. They are a reflection of our evolving civilization and our efforts to find common ground. We should embrace this period as a catalyst for change. On these matters, we are in fact uniquely positioned to pursue mindset growth, empathetic dialogue, and mutual understanding. We should move forward, not just individually, but as a community committed to upholding universal rights and freedoms. Focus on our own common humanity, confident that our diversity can enrich rather than impoverish us. Mr. Chairman, esteemed audience, we live in a world where the human mind has conceived the inconceivable. We have conquered space travel. We have penetrated the unfathomable depths of our oceans. Driverless cars cruise along our highways, and portals to infinite knowledge, also known as smartphones, are held in the palms of our hands. Surely, our brilliant minds can illuminate the path to harmonious coexistence, despite our philosophical differences. Surrender to a mindset of confusion on these fundamental matters is simply absurd and unacceptable. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
That was Raj
Memorial Secondary
Balls
School.
from the
Raj
Dr.
spoke
JP.
for 9 minutes, 10 seconds.
Yes, so that was Raj Balls from the
So we're at
Dr.
the
JP
end of the
Eustace
first round of
Memorial Secondary.
competition.
He spoke
And just a
for
note,
9
interestingly, no
minutes,
one spoke under 8 minutes.
10
Means that
seconds.
nobody lost 5 points in the process. Round of applause for all of the participants.
Yes, and we heard
So we are preparing for the next round of
from the
competition.
chair,
Reminder,
no one spoke
material,
under
15 points.
8 minutes,
Manner,
so
Yes.
5
no
points.
points were
Language,
deducted
5
from
points.
them.
Also
Yes,
5 points.
and
A total of 30 points would be allocated
The
to the next
Raj,
round of
quite
competition. The main
subtle
topic, which we just heard,
presentation.
attracts
yes,
15
but
points.
he
So,
brought
competitors,
across
are you ready to
those
proceed?
points. He calmly
Ready. Okay,
delivered his
judges.
speech tonight,
All right, so we
and
wait for the judges. A reminder about the bell rule.
Let our
In the meantime,
stated, let our
those who missed it, for the
diversity
student
enrich
prepared
us
category, which is
and
the
not
one that we're heading into right now,
impoverish
first bell
us.
will go as
and
bell
take
4 minutes,
us
and the third
Yes.
quite.
Yes, we're
5
bringing you
minutes.
live coverage of
So we
the
expect all of our
Lions
competitors
Club
to
Low
monitor those allocations and pay attention
National
to the bell
Secondary
as
School
well.
Public Speaking Competition
You are
2024
encouraged to refer to your
Finals.
prepared notes.
Now,
We also
Yes,
don't expect
and
you to read,
Lion
but you
Colville
can
Harry
refer to
is
your
just
notes
with
of your
the
presentation
bell
for the student
situation. So we have the
as well.
main speech. Now we're
So
going to have a
the
break,
next round,
yes.
and we'll be
and
having
as
the
we do
next
so,
round, which is the
must again
student
thank
prepared
Flow
speech. Now the
SPG for
first
their
bell
St. Vincent South
indicates
National
the
Secondary
presence
Schools
of the
Public Speaking
competitor at the
Competition.
podium.
Round of applause for
The
Flow.
second bell would be
We have some
rung
lovely
at 4
prizes,
minutes,
which
and the third
stores
bell would be
really
rung
nice
at
Samsung
5
and some
for
other
the
goodies which
which we have 15
later on.
points, manner,
And all of our
5
participants
points,
tonight will
language, 5
receive a
points, and
trophy to
voice,
recognize their
5
participation,
points, which
along with
brings us to a
certificates
total of
from the Lions
30
Club St. Vincent
points.
South. We have various
And we'll be
categories which
having
we'll award
6
as well for the best and main
competitors.
prepared topic. Those will attract some and some recognition as well. So,
Okay, yes,
ready, judges?
the Alexander
All right,
Cummins,
so
Visit
they're ready.
Martin
Competitors, are
School,
you ready now? Enough
Macy
time?
Batiste,
Oh, okay.
Sandy
Now
Bay
they're ready.
Secondary,
So we'll go in the order
Kyra Johnson,
which
North
we
Union
announced earlier.
Secondary,
Start
Mahim
competitor
Primus,
number
St.
1,
Vincent's Grammar
Alexander
School,
Cummings of the
Samara Lynn, Raj Bulls, Dr. J.P. Eustace Memorial Secondary School. We have competitor 1 with his student prepared speech. We take you to the podium.
Mr. Chairman, please permit me to adopt the protocol that has already been established. Good evening once more. From small islands to the grandest of stages, Caribbean athletes have left their indelible mark on regional and international games, and more recently on the Olympics. But how did these tiny nations come to dominate in events where giants once stood? Tonight, I invite you to explore how a region often overlooked has risen to iconic heights, producing athletes who not only what it means to be outline exactly how our nations will keep our absolute advantage and extend our record-breaking legacy for years to come. Historically, the Caribbean has nurtured champions long before modern fame. Arthur Wint of Jamaica won the first gold medal for the region at the 1948 Olympics, and Jamaican Tessa Sanderson paved the way for future generations as the first black female Caribbean athlete to win gold. Today, we witness legends like Usain Bolt, who holds the record for the fastest man alive, Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, a powerhouse in sprinting, Kirani James, who brought Olympic glory to Grenada, and Julian Alfred of St. Lucia, now dubbed the fastest woman in the world by ESPN. These athletes don't just compete, they dominate, rewrite records, and inspire millions. Mr. Chairman, it is difficult to imagine how these tiny island states have been able to beat the odds of probability. It must not be lost on us that without a care for a planned, structured, and conceived program of action, our athletics could decline, as is currently the case with West Indies cricket, that once took preeminence as the greatest cricket team of all time. We must never allow athletics to suffer the same fate in our region, lest the words of Consul General Fitzhuggins ring true, that we have moved from fans to well-wishers. Mr. Chairman, please permit me to don my boxing glove and begin with the ministers of sports in the Caribbean. As a young sportsman myself, if I as a sports that the Ministry of Sports should not be diluted with other ministries. Rather, it be given pride of place where it stands. This would allow for the allocation of resources, ensuring that sports development, infrastructure, and youth programs receive the priority they deserve. I will set up a platform for trained athletics coaches in every primary school to manage the training of children to become professionals and to remove the misconception that physical education is the be all and end all of what athletics should be. I will scout for potential athletes from the lower primary ranks in our schools. We must select our athletes as early as possible and not wait until they are about to faint before we provide for them, as we did with Shafika Maloney. We must demand the full engagement of parents, community, and club structures to bolster the raw talent of our youth. My cabinet and I will leave nothing to chance. It is often said that no man is an island, and we must never discount the importance of regional integration being the tide that lifts all boats. Within our region, if we establish a platform for sharing our human resource capacity to mobilize the best coaches for the benefit of the coaches within our shores could access the coaching wizardry of Stephen Francis, the mastermind behind Jamaica's track success in sprint and middle distance races. Through this collaboration, we would enhance our training methods, adopt proven techniques, and raise the overall standard of coaching within the region, thereby reducing the need for athletes to seek training abroad. The result, the Caribbean as a powerhouse in athletic competitiveness. We must ensure that what unites us remains stronger than anything that tries to pull us apart. Finally, in corporate St. Vincent's support for young athletes must be more than a dabble in short-term sporadic funding without real dedication. Although occasional sponsorship provides essential funds for our equipment and travel, the lack of sustained, meaningful investment leaves true growth and long-term development stagnant. Promising talents deserve a consistent, structured path to success. True change needs steadfast backing to nurture future champions. In conclusion, Mr. Chairman, our investment in athletics can easily become one of the region's most lucrative pathways for development. However, without proactive, robust support, our passionate fandom may falter, turning to passive acceptance if we allow decline to take root. Our athletes already bring their grit and relentless ambition to the table. It is high time for the powers that be to do the same. Let us take our athletics beyond the finish line. Thank you.
That was the first competitor for the student prepared speech. We had
Thank you very
Alexander
much,
Cummins
Alexander
of
Cummings,
the
St.
St.
Martin's
Martin's Secondary
School.
School.
Alexander spoke for 5 minutes, 1 second.
Oh, he spoke for 5 minutes, 1
And a reminder
second.
regarding the time for the student prepared speech. Each speaker shall speak for a period not exceeding 5 minutes as per the guidelines provided.
So Alexander
And we are
exceeded that
preparing
by
for
1
the next
second.
competitor
One thing I must
to deliver
say,
her speech in
he
this category, the student prepared speech. Are the
was
judges
actually
ready?
taking athletics beyond the finish line.
Give them a
Once again, a
moment.
confident
So, put your hands
presentation by
together for Macy
Alexander.
Batiste as she
He
prepares
spoke
to
about if he was
give
the
a
Minister of
presentation.
Sports, he
We'll
brought
hand the
passion
microphone
about
over to
this
Macy
topic,
in
and I
just
think
a
it relates to
moment.
him being an
Athlete,
athlete as
yes. I
well.
want him to be my sports minister too.
Judges.
To be
Yeah.
honest, I thought he would
Remember,
he
coming
would
up
serve well on the
impromptu.
youth
That's going
council.
to be
He also
exciting.
spoke on
So, if you're viewing
separating the
online and you're
ministry
listening,
from
be
other
sure to
ministries
stay
and have it
glued
independent.
And that we
follow us
shouldn't
for
wait
the remainder
until
of the
our
evening's
athletes are reaching close to
proceedings.
attaining accolades to
Following
praise them
Macy,
or give
Cairo
them
will
the
come to the
support.
podium
Correct.
Very
and do her
strong
presentation.
As in the
speech
case
delivered.
with
Yes, and he also
Samara Lynch and Raj
drew
Pauls
attention
in
to
that
Usain
order.
Bolt, Sheldon
Keep the
Fraser
order we
Price,
began with
Julian
the main
Alfred,
Right.
and
topic
Kirani
segment.
James
yes.
as well. So he not
So ready.
only
Came
kept it
up-
to
Macy
St.
Batiste, Sandy
Vincent, but
Bay Secondary
regionally,
School.
he basically have a lot of potential athletes in the Caribbean.
Yeah,
We
he-
take you to the
As
podium.
call has already been established, I proceed. But what am I seeing here on Facebook? God is surrounded. What is going on in our schools today? Ladies and gentlemen, are our schools truly safe, or are we ignoring the growing storms? The SVG Education media advertisement promoting School Safety Week echoed the following, and I quote, "As we commemorate School Safety Week on the profound impact that Hurricane Southern Grenadines." End quote. Excellent initiative. But what about the impacts of Hurricane Me Pick Me Right, which made landfall a few ravaged primary school, leaving in serious emotional and physical damages? Just in case you missed it, please allow me to track its destructive path for you, Chairperson. Here is its path. A child brings a water gun, disrupting classes by spraying others. The teacher steps in, and suddenly, Hurricane Me Pick Me Right gathers force. The storms build through the fury of parents' rights. Next day, much like did Lenny, the storm returns. Real. School security and teachers seeking shelter. But alas, judges, there was no shelter from the unforgiving elements, a harbinger of anarchy. Eyewitness News on 3rd October carried the headline, "Fight at Primary School." That was not a fight, Chairperson. That is a crisis that brings Nemo's attention. Chairperson, we are all very familiar with the multiple cases of school shooting internationally. Who is going to protect us from Hurricane Bring a Weapon to School? BBC News, 20th February 2024, in an article titled, "Teachers Speak Out Over Rising Pupil Violence." Explain. Teachers and are scared to go to work because of escalating violence. We are in storms. In October, reported on a former student, scissors in hand, planning is visible. For another hurricane named Bring a Weapon to School. Chairperson, we need Nemo. Our schools are in desperate need of a comprehensive disaster plan for the myriad emergencies within the school environment. The current school safety plans focus solely on natural and biohazards. Is school safety limited to a hurricane or a disease outbreak? What is school safety? According to Cornell and Mayer, 2010, and I quote, "School safety refers to a learning environment where measures are in place to protect students, staff, harassment, and other forms of harm." End of quote. Chairperson, where is the disaster management team that will have options and life-threatening situations in our school? I ask these critical questions because when our school administration, teachers, and school security guards are being assaulted, who then protect meetings? Recently, a roundtable discussion on VC3 TV featured 5 students and a seasoned teacher lamenting the state of school security. What if the arms will never trends more of a public outcry? All the urgent plan action will make our society.
That was amazing with Sports 45. And she made a cry for help to deal with the rising cases of conflict between students, parents, and
joining us via
teachers.
radio on the National Broadcasting
Yes, and we see
Corporation.
that,
We
you know,
have
yeah,
television channel one
and we realize that we
various
could do better than
Lions
what
Club
they're
St.
doing
Vincent South
presently.
page.
Yes, I
And in
agree.
case you haven't gone
And
there
I
yet,
Because
like
just
I
search for
wouldn't like
Lions Club
my
South on
child
your
to be in school
Facebook,
and
and you can follow and like
I
our
get a
page. We'll
call to
have
say somebody
updates
done
there for
something,
your upcoming
that,
projects, and you would see
I
photos
mean,
of
if
tonight's
it's
event there
child,
as
that's
well.
all right. We have
So are we
these
ready,
basa in
journalists?
schools, but
yes.
Right, that's
you
a nod.
know, parents
So
going on the
Kyra Johnson
compound
of
or
the
even
North Union
somebody
Secondary
out
now
the
is
compound and
take off.
playing with kids is, yeah.
It's a bit frightening indeed. We now take you to the podium.
The low moral standards that modern society upholds are contributing to the decline of spirituality among young people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Protocol having been established. Consecutive rights, the amplified playing of indecent music, smutty behaviors, derogatory terms directed at adult men, standing at the bus stop as reality, don't want anymore. No longer the field for youth meetings on a Friday evening. This had led me to reflect on a larger and more troubling issue. The low moral standards that modern society upholds are contributing to the decline of spirituality among young people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Family structures, materialism, and immorality. Chairperson, the breakdown of family structure in the Vincentian society guiding youth. Additionally, was practice still in today, fragmented spiritual instead stress the role as in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 6 to 7, which urges parents to teach God's commandments daily. But with weakened family bonds and inconsistent moral leadership, how can young people fear the Lord and follow his ways? Moreover, chairperson, the law of modern people to lose sight of social goals that equates success with fame, wealth, and power. Spiritually growth often takes a back. People are constantly encouraged to pursue financial, social at the expense of their spirit. Jesus himself yet these young people made impact in their age. Societies of immoral behaviors such as sexual immorality and confusion among young people about the right and wrong. Take, for instance, Shensia's hit song, Dating Season. And I quote, "Me I date two people at the same time, just weighing my options." A great number of Vincentians describe this song as top chart upon its release, yet a society remains to that songs like this instill in our youth. This is absurd. Additionally, chairperson, when leaders encourage in young people about the violence 11 and verse 1. The Lord is accurate. In conclusion, chairperson, if families, churches, and communities or guiding institutions are failing, How can we expect the next generation to remain connected to their faith? In a morally obscured world, we must reinforce values that foster spiritual growth. Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6 states, "Train up a child in a way he should go, and when he is old, he will depart from it." Without, without restoring moral and spiritual guidance, we risk losing our faith and our nation's soul. The time to act is now, or to shall be our cry. I thank you.
That was Kyra Johnson of the North Union.
Kyra Johnson of the North Union Secondary School.
Kyra spoke for 4 minutes, 6 seconds.
Okay, so that's
in the said speech.
basically tying in the low moral standings and religious practices. She touched on the neglect of spiritual upbringing in the home in
Yeah, she had three broke modern materialism and immoral behaviors.
Preparing for the next competitor, judges.
Yes, so we're getting ready
Just a
for the
Following Jaheem,
next
Samara
competitor,
prepare, you'll
Jaheem
be
Primus of the St.
following, and
Vincent
Raj,
Grammar School.
you'll bring up the end of
So
the
just a
category.
reminder that
This is the student
each
prepared speech.
competitor
As we get
has
ready to go
5
into a much
minutes
shorter
for the
impromptu
student
segment.
prepared speech. The first bell will signal their presence, the second bell will be at 4 minutes, and the third bell the
material in the student prepared speech material 15 points, 5 points, language points, and 5 points.
Have an opportunity to review.
They speak for more.
Speaker tonight.
have the method of
means that
students. Then we'd have 2
protocol being of the graduate. I knew the game would be more like the marathon. It's a test of endurance. Success isn't about reaching the finish line. It's about having the fortitude to keep going. Even when it's giving up. Marathon of failure are something in terms of grade routine points. Yes. Stand of distinct at that moment, was a and never
You say you would die for me, sign on the dotted line for me. What could I do so bad? You left me a yard, not even a courtesy. After all what I did for you,
one thing that
long ago what you put me through, not even a smile in my mind.
I grew up of mental for compete case adaptability and purpose. How courage will imitate self-information.
What could make you treat me this way? This way, I tell you, sunrise or sunset, out there, boy. What could make you treat me this way? This way, boy. Why you do me that? Do me that? Do me that, Lord? Why you do me that? Why you do me that? Why you do me that? Do me that? Do me that, Lord? Why you do me that? Why you do me that, Lord? You say you would die for me, sign on the dotted line for me. What could I do so bad? You left me a yard, not even a courtesy. After all what you did for you, look what you put me through. Not even a sign, she's blowing my mind. Oh, now my head's still hurting.
Jaheim, sorry, spoke for 4 minutes, 50 seconds.
And I know you're getting excited, but I ask that you reserve the claps until after the presentation, right? Thank you. We're getting ready for the next presenter this evening, but before we do so, just a bit about some of the work being done by the Lions Club St. Vincent South. And for those who are not aware, we do an annual tree planting exercise, and this year was no exception. And it's always amazing to see the trees that were planted by the Lions 10 years ago and how far they've grown, how much they've grown, and the hillsides that we populate each and every year when we go back the following year to see how we're adding our own touch to enhancing our environment and protecting our natural environment for generations to come.
Yes, we have the Methodist Church. We do miss a snippet of Jaheim's students prepared speech. Jaheim spoke about the Paris Olympics 2024 beyond of medals. He reflected the of school. He remember preparing his classroom and his teacher giving him instructions to the doctor, finding out that he had a tumor diagnosis to be in the head. He said and he referenced Shafika that this challenge here was a race in the Olympics. He on a bit of emotion and peaceful adversity.
Loud music. Immediately, the entire with singing, I hope else. This event speech for tonight. This being the Vinci Van culture. I have chosen to speak topic because it's a pressing issue we as young people face every day. According to the Britannica Encyclopedia, quote, if a type of of the rival absolute life in typical they oh okay
Girl, I keep you by my side cause you're my kryptonite. So baby girl, I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you.
90.3, 96.7, and 101.9 FM. It's Nice Radio.
how much smaller can I get? Thus, you could understand how it felt when I was instructed to do so. My final statement, Chairperson, is the most significant issue affecting us as young people. That is the music. I must state that most of us young people really love music. But I am referring to the loudness and the lyrics of the music. Safe decibel levels of song are those that fall at or below 70 decibels. Unsafe decibel levels of song measure above 70 decibels. Noise-induced hearing loss can occur over time from frequent exposure to loud noises. A normal conversation is around 60 decibels. Can you imagine the amount we receive when in a van? Not to mention the lyrics, which tend to be inappropriate for students. Just picture early Monday morning having these lyrics playing over in your head. Unconsciously, we occasionally sing and dance to these songs during our lessons, which is a major distraction. Some of these songs are not even appropriate for adult audiences at nightclubs and fetes. Imagine I was sitting in my class and all I can hear playing in my head is, what? But who tagging me? She like what she is, see? I indeed felt stupidity after singing this song. I was not conscious of what I was singing or nodding to, but it was so captivating. There are most song lyrics that I can't even dare to repeat, Chairperson. That is to demonstrate the profound impact that music can have on the brain. However, I should not focus solely on the negative aspects because There are some really thoughtful and considerate drivers in SVG. They should be commended for the lives that they have in their hands and the way that they take care of them. They are doing their civic duties in safeguarding the innocent minds of our nation's children and youth. But I still want to reiterate that the van culture in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a major problem, and I'm humbly suggesting that something is done and fast. Chairperson, I thank you.
That was Samara Lynch of the Mountain View Adventist Academy,
Thank you
and
very much,
she
Samara.
spoke
Mountain
about
View
the
Adventist
Vinci
Academy.
van culture.
Samara spoke for 5 minutes, 17 seconds.
Yes, so she spoke for
Right, we are
5 minutes,
almost there.
17
Raj,
seconds.
you're up next, so stand by.
She touched on
Dr. J.P.
several
Eustace Memorial
issues when it
Secondary School.
pertains to the Vinci van
Just
culture.
another
She spoke about the speed,
hint
the
about some of the work being done by
overcrowding,
Alliance International,
a
and
very
a bit
popular
this time
topic.
about
If
the
I
size of the organization. For
am
those
not,
who are not
if
aware,
my
the
memory serves
Alliance
me
International
correctly, this was
comprises
probably one of
of
the
1.4
impromptu
million
topics
members
a few years
worldwide,
back.
serving in
I
over
wasn't wrong a few years back,
49,000 clubs.
but you can tell us
So we just
it was in the
dropped
1940s.
the ocean in terms of the general
Yeah, I
membership
wasn't
of
wrong.
Lions
So,
Club International.
but
Practically
you would
in
have been following
almost every
them
country
for
on
quite a
earth,
bit.
there's
So,
Alliance
Yes,
Club present.
I wasn't here
In some
in
cases,
St. Vincent
several
actually. I was actually looking at
some
this
geographical areas.
one when they had it.
So as we prepare
I
for
think it was
Raj, reminder that we
22.
have the
so our
impromptu
regular
segment coming up.
conversation is
And
70
in
decibels.
this segment,
Okay,
the
so she was a
speakers
little
will
more
each
than
have 1
70
minute to
decibels a
prepare,
while ago.
Yes, she
1
was
minute to
indeed
consider what they're going
a
to speak
very
about, and 2
passionate
minutes to
speaker about the
present
topic,
on their topic
I
of
must
choice,
say.
which will
And
take
I think she
More,
added a
more
little humor.
entertaining,
Yes.
more like an impromptu
So,
topic,
and for the final
Yeah.
competitor,
The crowd appreciated the little,
Raj Pal of the Dr. J.P.
the
Eustace
little
Memorial
entertainment, I
Secondary
guess.
School.
It woke up the crowd a little bit as we wind down this segment. We now take you to the podium for Raj Balls.
Chairperson, esteemed audience, permit me to adopt the protocol that has already been established. Thank you for this opportunity to speak on an issue that weighs heavily on my heart. Addressing youth violence in St. Vincent and the Grenadines through community involvement and support systems. Allow me to share a poignant story, an evening in Redemption Shops that irrevocably changed my perception of our community. As I walked home from the shop, the serenity of the night was shattered by the unmistakable echo of gunshots. In an instant, chaos erupted. People sprinted in every direction. Cries of, "Oh God, somebody get shot," pierced the air. I ran faster than both. The fear etched on the faces around me. People ducking behind walls, frantically seeking shelter, was a stark reminder of the violence that has woven itself into the fabric of our daily lives. Chairperson, this harrowing experience is not an anomaly. It is a painful reality that ricochets far too often across our neighborhoods. Kingston Park, Paul's Avenue, Rose Place, Edinburgh, and Otley Hall are some of the hotspots. Too many Vincentian youths are in a toxic relationships with guns and violence. Minor conflicts spiral into devastating tragedies, robbing young lives of their futures and leaving families shattered. The statistics tell a sobering story. In 2023, the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force recorded 52 murders, with 43 involving firearms. A stark increase from 42 murders in 2022, where 28 involved guns. Tragically, this year continues the grim trend, ensnaring more young people as victims and perpetrators of violent crimes. Furthermore, youth involvement in violence is prevalent not only in major crimes, but also in petty offenses. A 2021 UNICEF report revealed that nearly 1 in 3 adolescents aged 13 to 17 were involved in a physical fight at least once in the previous year. The figures are especially alarming for teenagers aged 13 to 15, with 34% reporting involvement in fights compared to 29% of those aged 16 to 17. Chairperson, we must confront an uncomfortable truth. Youth violence is not merely a criminal issue. It is a profound public health and community crisis. This violence often stems from deeper societal issues: poverty, parental neglect, juvenile delinquency, lack of opportunity, and hopelessness. While it is essential to acknowledge the efforts made by the authorities, such as increased police presence and youth crime prevention programs, we must admit that these measures often fall short. They feel reactionary, addressing symptoms without tackling the root causes. For every successful initiative, countless others languish for lack of resources and community involvement, leaving many without the support they desperately need. Our young people are waging a formidable battle. Many are deprived of crucial resources, job training, employment opportunities, mental health support, and safe spaces for positive engagement. When the future is a lot, though, desperation can lead to choices that spiral into violence. Yet, there is hope. As an active member of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Task Force, I have witnessed firsthand the transformative power of community initiatives, mentorship programs, and safe spaces. When young people are provided with guidance and real opportunities, they no longer have to resort to violence to feel seen and respected. Local organizations and leaders are already paving the way, offering skill building, job training, and most importantly, instilling their belief in their potential. Imagine a profound change if every young Vincentian had access to opportunities within supportive, respectful environments. To break the cycle, we must all commit to being a part of the solution. Let us champion initiatives that offer young people a chance to transcend their circumstances. Together, we can transform our communities into places where young people can envision a future free from violence. While government initiatives are necessary, community support is crucial. With our combined efforts, we can make a lasting impact on the young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Let us stand united in this important work. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
And that was the final competitor for this segment. The student prepared speech, Raj Bowles from the Dr. J.P. Eustace Memorial Secondary School.
Raj spoke for 4 minutes, 51 seconds.
So Raj spoke for 4 minutes, 51 seconds. So this is the end of the student prepared speech or topic. We have to prepare for the impromptu topics where we hear from the 6 competitors once more.
Yes, and Raj touched on a very pressing issue in our society today. Violence, especially among the youths. A youth in a toxic relationship with guns and knives, as he noted.
Yes, he reflected about one evening where he was walking through his community of redemption shops and the incident he experienced during that time. He also stated a few hotspots, what we consider hotspots in St. Vincent and Grenadines, and he also ties in his experience as a cadet into all of this and the importance of telling our youth that violence is not the answer.
Very good speech indeed. He also addressed the fact that we need to tackle it by the root rather than reacting to the situation, and that's been happening quite a lot. Instead of we do put preventative measures in place, we see them just responding to incidents.
Yes, I think a lot of the time, as human beings, we tend to react first instead of getting, as he said, to the root of the problem.
Yes. So Angie, we're gonna take the minute too, and we're gonna jot down points for our impromptu, and we'll see how we do as compared to the participants.
Yes, so we have the first competitor, Alexander Cummins, with youth development. So if you're listening to us and looking at us via Facebook, feel free to jot a few comments in the comment section about the topic that you've heard for the impromptu topics. So Alexander Cummins of St. Martin Secondary School is preparing. So just to remind you that the impromptu topic, we have material 5 points,
Manner, 5 points.
language 5 points,
Voice, 5 points.
a total of 20 points.
And that would bring us all to 100 points for this evening's competition.
Yes, and the first bell signal his present. The second bell, the end of 1 minute. And he begins. We take you to the podium.
Mr. Chairman, please allow me to adopt the protocol that has already been established. Good evening once more, ladies and gentlemen. My topic this evening is youth development. Now, when we talk about youth development, as I did in my student prepared speech, we're talking about inputting funds into our youth, our children, our teenagers, adolescents, etc. The topic I'm going to focus mostly on is education. Now, education is required onto a secondary school level by the government, St. Vincent and Grenadines, and that is one of the most important things for youth development. If you don't have an education, you can't get a job. If you can't get a job, you can't get any money. If you can't get any money, you know what happens after that. What is important for us to do is to support our youth all the way from primary school through common entrance, all the way through secondary school, CSEC, sometimes maybe tertiary at community college and through CAPE, and really develop the youth, show the youth how to become young men and women. Yes, and I hope that my youth, myself, will be developed by the $4,000 being offered by Flo this evening towards my tertiary education, and that will definitely help in my development. So I implore you, please focus on our youth, focus on our development, and help us to become better young men and women. I thank you.
That was Alexander Cummins of the St. Martin Secondary School.
Alexander Cummings of the St.
And,
Martin Secondary School.
the topic just works perfect for him because he spoke on
Yes,
sports, which
Alexander,
involved the youth.
spoke for 1 minute 52 seconds.
1 minute 52 seconds.
Right.
Quite
So we are preparing
fitting
to
because his
Macy
prepared
Batiste
speech was on
of the
youth
Secondary
and
development,
sports.
yes.
Yeah,
And,
so
likewise,
he chose to
Macy
speak
will
on education
select
and his
a topic
development,
from
and hoping the $4,000 that Flo is going to give him tonight would further his development as a youth. Yeah.
Added a bit of humor to it. But youth development, you could look at sports. As he touched earlier, we can look at Raj Ball's, where he spoke about crime prevention, so youth and crime prevention, help with development. He already, Alexander touched on education. You know, the youth development broad topic, he picked one aspect of it. So,
like I say, it's not easy to think on your feet, and you only have 1 minute to just find something to write on. So,
it's
yeah.
a tough one, and I must say I commend the 6 participants tonight. So we now have Macy
let's see.
Batiste.
Children's right to be safe and healthy. One more time. Children's right to be safe and healthy.
Okay, so Macy is going to speak about children's right to be safe and healthy. So as we know, the month of May is Child's Month, and
we in November.
We're in November. I'm just saying. Flashback to May, or maybe next May. Macy might be an advocate for this topic, for the theme of Child's Month.
Because I could only remember as far back as last week when November ended,
I can't remember yesterday, Nikki. But yes, so we had youth development. Now we're going to hear from Macy about the
Children's
children's
right
right,
to be safe
safe
and
and
healthy.
healthy.
hmm Real foodie topic indeed.
So she has 1 minute to prepare and 2 minutes to
Present.
present.
Yes, she's busy putting down her points.
And okay, we take you to the podium.
Protocol having already been established, ladies and gentlemen, once again, good evening. The topic that I chose to present on is children's right to be safe and healthy. Children children's right to be safe and healthy can be executed in multiple ways. In schools, for example, as I stated in my student prepared speech. In schools, in schools, as I said, thank you.
Okay, so Macy
Let's give her a round of applause.
from Sandy
Let's give her a
Bay
round of
Nerves
applause.
took over and she ended
That was Macy
before
Batiste of
time.
the Sandy Bay Secondary School.
Yes.
Macy spoke for
Quite
1 minute, 8 seconds.
quite unfortunate.
Yes.
And we're preparing for the
But
next
like I said,
competitor,
it's not
Kyra
easy.
Johnson of
It
the
really
North
isn't.
It's
Union
really not
Secondary
easy.
School.
And her topic was children's right to be safe and
Kyra
healthy.
will likewise
She tried to
select
tie
her
it in with
topic
her
from the envelopes.
prepared speech, but just couldn't get the point
Point
out. She
across.
couldn't get to start.
Yes,
Hard luck
and
anyhow.
she actually spoke about school safety.
Yeah.
So,
Kyra's
tough
topic,
one, but
rest, relaxation, and play. Rest, relaxation,
Kyra,
and play.
rest, relaxation, and
And play.
play.
One thing I must say, this is a vague topic, but yet, it being vague, you can do so much with it.
Yeah, because you don't hear.
That's the thing. If I'm up there behind the podium, it'd probably be a whole different situation.
Of course, it will be. You have 1 minute to jot down something. You don't know where your mind taking you.
No, that's very true. But she could talk a bit about rest, the importance of rest, and the importance of relaxation,
Of course, I love that one. The second one. Yeah.
and what my granny used to always say: all work and no play makes Jill a dull girl.
you did. You didn't grow up with Granny at all. I think you missed that one.
We twisted it a little bit. Okay, the memory's a bit old, so we recalled it. But yes, folks, that we are waiting Kyra Johnson of the North Union Secondary. We take you to the podium.
Protocol having been established, my topic I chose is rest, relaxation, and play. When I think of this, I think of vacation. What do people do on vacation? Rest, relaxation, and play. When there are tropical beaches, when I speak about vacation, I think of beaches. We can go on beaches to relax, free our minds, and more. Um, let's talk about when I come home from school after an exhausted day from teachers teaching me and being very tired. Sorry, teachers, but still. Um, as soon as I reach home, I would just lie down on my bed and go sleep because I tired from all them walking and with play. I kind of like to play, but it's a part of life. Playing is a part of life. People might think, oh well, me too big for play. Me know that. Me, you must play in your life. Have a fun life. So just remember, relax, rest, and play. Thank you.
That was Kyra Johnson of the North Union Secondary who reminded us to rest, relax, and play. Nikki, we're going to play
Kyra Johnson
hopscotch
of the North
tomorrow
Union Secondary School.
and
Kyra
moral
spoke for
I
1
in for
minute
that.
32 seconds.
and cricket with a coconut
Again, a
bat.
gentle reminder as
Nah,
we
I
go
ain't
through the
gonna bounce up my
presentations that
toe and hit
you
up my
keep the
shin.
noise level to a minimum in the hall as we
Yes.
want the judges to hear
One thing I
clearly
must
what
note:
each presenter is saying.
these
So again, we
topics
remind you
are
that
not,
once you are in
thus
the
far to
audience, we
me,
expect that
they're
you
not
will
balanced.
allow
The
for the
weight
presentations to be heard
is not
clearly
balanced
by
throughout
the
these
judges.
topics. I'll wait to
Yes.
see the other three
Getting ready for the next
selections, but
presenter,
the weight is
same order.
uneven.
So far, yes, I
Jahim
think so myself.
Primus of the St.
It's a
Vincent
little
Grammar
unfair to
School
the
will proceed
students,
to
you know.
select his topic.
But it is what it is. So
Reveal
let's
the
see what's
topic as
happening.
soon as
And I must
the judges
commend
are complete with
the
their
students. Right now, Jahim Primus of the St. Vincent Grammar School
just
is
give them a
selecting
moment
his
to
topic.
finish up. Right, so we're ready. And Jahim will speak on educational experiences. Educational experiences.
So he would speak on educational experiences. Now, this is quite ironic because his student prepared speech, he touched a bit about his first day in school. So,
Yes.
looking back at these selections, it's a bit ironic how these students are picking because St. Martin's picked youth development. He spoke about
On his prepared
his
speech was sports and
sports
youth.
youth. And then Sandy Way picked children's right to be safe and healthy, and her prepared speech was
the
about
violence in the schools.
school safety.
Yes, school safety.
And then North Union picked,
Rest, relaxation, and play.
well, her student prepared speech was more about low moral standings and religious practices. But grammar school, the educational experiences. So we'll await to see what Jahim presents today. So far, the impromptu category has presented its challenges. So we take you to the podium.
Protocol having already been established, good evening again. For the next 2 minutes, I will be speaking to you on educational experiences. Educational experiences shape our future. We go to school from preschool at 4 years old, before 4 years old, and we go up through levels so that we can shape our conversing skills and build better selves. Ladies and gentlemen, in primary school, we all think of fun times. We think of running around and playing with our friends, and we're not so focused, but we're all looking at our friends and we're trying to express ourselves. We're free to express ourselves in however we feel. Ladies and gentlemen, when I entered the St. Vincent Grammar School, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. It was a challenging time. I was out from school for a year, and this was coupled with the COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, I have gone through Jordans. I have went over mountains, and I am here today as a great competitor in the public speaking competition. All these chairperson has shaped who I am today and who I've become and who my future will be. Ladies and gentlemen, educational experiences are important for young persons to grow up as successful and good contributors to our society. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
That was Jahim Primus of the St. Vincent Grammar School with
Jahim
educational
Primus of the St.
experiences.
Vincent Grammar School.
Jahim spoke for 1 minute 40 seconds, 40 seconds.
So he spoke for 1
I
minute
did
40
promise that I'd give
seconds.
you a number to
And
call for the next project which will be undertaken
He spoke
by
about
the Lions
the
Club St. Vincent South,
stages in
which is for
the
the
different
breast
in
cancer
a child's
screening.
life, a different educational. He
That
started
number
it
is
from preschool to primary school to secondary school. He stopped at that level because that's where he is. So I don't think he he probably thought that okay, I can't relate to college as yet. So he stopped at that level. He threw in a bit of his personal experience, especially with him battling health challenges as he started the St. Vincent Grammar School.
Yes, again, another fitting topic for him because of his prepared speech. He did mention about his problem as he entered school as well.
World Children's Day. World Children's
And
Day.
Samara
Samara
Lynch
Lynch.
is gonna speak on World Children's Day.
Nikki, do you think that I manifested that topic? Because I just spoke about Child's Month and now they're talking about World Children's Day.
Yeah, I think they're tapping into our phones. You have your speaker on or something.
I'll have
Yeah.
to double check. But yes, Samara Lynch of the Mountain View Adventist Academy will be speaking on World Children's Day. Again, another broad topic. And looking back, these topics are not evenly weighed. It'd be interesting to know what other topics are in that envelope. But once again, commendable. I don't think I probably would have had the courage to be up there and speak so fluently.
I don't even want to be a judge either.
To be honest, no. But given our experience on Calypso, I think the two of us are banned from judging anything. So yes, folks, Mara, we're gonna take you to the podium for Samara.
The topic I have chosen for my impromptu speech this evening is World Children's Day. Let me start by saying World Children's Day is an important day that should be cherished. If we have Mother's Day and Father's Day, why should we not appreciate our children as well? It would increase their self-esteem, they'll feel loved, it will increase their confidence as they feel heard as we continue to build them up in society and continue to appreciate them. As we say, children are our future. If we appreciate them now, they will appreciate us later when we are older and they have to come and take care of us. They will be our doctors, our lawyers, our politicians even. And World Children's Day is a good thing to empower our youth in society, especially in this day and age where children are experiencing depression and suicidal thoughts and etc. that I cannot mention now. In the Bible, it says that God said that He will not suffer the little children to come unto Him. So we should also continue to appraise them and continue to take care of them and make them feel loved in everything we do. And hence, in conclusion, World Children's Day is something that is very important and should be continued for the benefit of our children. I thank you.
That was Samara Lynch of the Mountain View
Samara
Adventist
Lynch of the
Academy.
Mountain View Adventist Academy.
And it's a day to be
Samara spoke
cherished.
for 1 minute 32 seconds.
1 minute, 32
Again,
seconds.
a reminder, please.
It's a day to be
I know it
cherished.
gets
She
exciting
said,
sometimes,
if we have Mother's Day and Father's Day,
want to
why
have
not
a
Children's Day?
chuckle,
Come
but
on.
be mindful
I
that
That's
mean,
true.
you know, we are important too.
At the end of the day, we are all children. We may not always be all be fathers, we may not all be mothers, but at the end of the day, we are all somebody's child.
She says it increases self-esteem,
Empower our youth.
build confidence.
You know, and she said our youth are our future, you know, they're the now.
Secondary school.
For the future,
For the
correct.
future, yes.
Raj will now select his
So,
topic.
interesting topics we have here tonight. I think I feel a bit of the UN influence in some of these topics.
Yeah. They don't want to do the work themselves. They're asking the children to research it and tell them.
Well, who better to get the advice from than the generations to come?
We call it
Developing
Generation
talents and
W.
abilities.
We passed W already.
I'm not sure.
Developing
I'm a millennial.
talents and abilities.
And Raj's topic is developing talents and abilities.
Once again, another heavy topic, rather vague, open to many different angles of discussion. When you're developing talents and abilities, you could tie back to youth development, sports, education,
And
music,
it could help.
culture.
It could help him with his previous topic as well. Because you're developing talents and abilities would keep you away from crime.
Yes.
It helped to alleviate some of the issues and the linemen on the blocks and things like that. Yeah, the mischief. They say
Indeed.
the devil is flying idle hands.
That is true. My
Mhm.
my great
I
grandmother
want to
always
do
told
too
me
much
that.
a quote because them last couple of Bible quotes been going wrong.
Yes. So we take you to the podium.
Protocol having already been established. Today's topic I will be speaking on is developing talents and abilities. Many of our children today have a lot of talents and abilities. But how can we take this a step further? We, as persons of society, need to spot talents at a young and early stage. Parents, you as parents are in control and see your children to a day-to-day basis. You need to pay close attention to your children when they are doing certain activities. If you spot a talent or an ability, nurture it quickly because that child can develop into something extraordinary. Now, this is not only limited to parents, but adults. When you see children on the streets who are playing music, who have a talent for football, give them encouragement. Actively encourage them so that they will have pride in themselves and continue to learn that specific skill. Now, I as an individual can proudly say I have a talent for music. This was discovered by my music teacher, Miss Taylor. She took me in at an early age and teach me how to read music, how to learn music philosophy, and also how to play my instrument today. I also play trumpet, by the way. Now, it's not only limited to me, but countless others in this room have many talents that have not been discovered as yet. Now, I urge you parents, discover those talents. Pay close attention to your child and nurture those talents as if you're nurturing a baby. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Definitely a crowd's favorite.
Well, the audience says it all.
Girls of the
For
Dr.
Raj.
Jim Eustace Memorial
I think he
Secondary School.
so far
Raj spoke for 1 minute 57 seconds.
1 minute 57 seconds. So far has
That's
been
the
the
official
crowd's
end of
favorite.
competition,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
But we're not
indeed. He
finished.
spoke about the
Still have a few
developing
more items
talents
to
and
go, which
abilities.
includes
He
the
noted that
results.
you should
Before we get to
nurture
that point, though,
quickly. He
we
spoke
just
to
want to, at this
parents.
time,
And after he spoke to parents, he spoke to
invite
adults,
Our
the
society,
UNICEF
our
program
yes.
coordinator
society,
for
to
St. Vincent and
encourage
the
the youth.
Grenadines,
And he also
Nicole
related a
Trudeau,
bit
to
of
bring
his
some brief
experience where
remarks
his
as
music
the
teacher
judges
picked
will
up on
now
his
hand
talent,
things
and
over
he now
to
plays
the
the trumpet
auditor
and the different,
Yes.
for the verification of the
versatility
results,
that
which will
he
happen
has in
a little
music.
later
Correct.
on. Ladies and gentlemen,
I
round
think
of
he did
applause for
justice to
Nicole
his
Trudeau,
topic. Yes.
UNICEF program coordinator for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
And that brings us to the end of
evening,
the
everyone.
competition.
In all of my
Yes.
career, I don't know that I've had a tougher act to follow. Thank you
Right.
very much.
We have a brief max from Nicole
As
Trudeau, the
representative
UNICEF
of UNICEF
Program
serving
Coordinator,
in St. Vincent
SVJ.
and
We
the
take you to the
Grenadines, I'm
podium.
very honored to be here tonight, watching and learning firsthand from our leaders. Notice I said leaders and not future leaders, as these youth have already started sharing their ideas and their action are leading the way forward. They have utilized this platform to showcase thoughts and dialogue on several important topics and issues. In fact, I recognize a few from the impromptu topics as the rights of the children. This was a document signed 35 years ago from the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines, along with 195 other countries. This signed the Convention on the Rights of the Child, the CRC. The convention is committed the government to supporting certain rights for all children. Today, we witness youth executing one of those rights, as children have the right to share freely what they learn, they think, and they feel. They have been supported by the Lions Club, different organizations, by the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, by Flow, by businesses, by educators, by parents, by their friends who have come out tonight to be able to listen and share and hear the voices of these very important members who have been representing the country today. UNICEF is proud to honor and celebrate all of the participants. I welcome your thoughts, your ideas, and I congratulate you on your success of your performance tonight.
That was brief remarks indeed by Nicole Trudeau of the UNICEF Program Coordinator, St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
As we say, in everything we must give thanks. So before the results, we'll give thanks. The vote of thanks at this time by Lion Cornelia Moses. So I now invite Lion Cornelia to bring the vote of thanks for this evening.
We now take you to the podium for the vote of thanks by Lion Cornelia Moses.
Good night, everyone. I'm pleased to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the Lions Club St. Vincent South on this occasion. This competition would not have been a success without the efforts of many who I will now recognize with gratitude. I wish to begin by thanking the Almighty God for allowing this competition to take place. As such, heartfelt appreciation to Lion Freddie Harper for invoking God's guidance and presence, to Corporal Raymond Powers for executing the fanfare, which signaled the entrance of the participating finalists and set the tone for a wonderful evening, to DJ Cano for playing the national anthem. Sincere thanks and appreciation to Honorable Fitzgerald Pramble, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingstown, and Mrs. Joycelyn Blake Brown, Deputy Chief Education Officer, for gracing us with their presence. Sincere thanks to Lion Janelle George, President of the Lions Club St. Vincent South, for delivering remarks and providing a brief summary of the work of Lions Club. To Mr. Wayne Hull, Country Manager of Flow SVG, for delivering remarks, and to Flow by extension for the substantial contribution which it continues to make towards this competition. The long-standing relationship which exists between both of our organizations is outstanding. Mrs. Mavis Findlay Joseph, Senior Education Officer with responsibility for primary schools in the Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation, thank you for delivering remarks. We are grateful for the continued partnership and support of your ministry. Mrs. Nicole Trudeau, UNICEF Program Coordinator in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, thank you for delivering remarks. Esteemed judges, you have been with us at the start of the preliminaries through to the finals. We sincerely appreciate your time, attention, and dedication to the task at hand. Without your efforts, we would not be able to determine a winner. Thank you. Timekeepers, Lion Commander John and Sharon Williams, you played an important role in providing the signal to the competitors. Thank you. Competitors, we applaud you for taking the bold step to represent your respective schools in this competition. Your presentations were well received. Best wishes in your future endeavors.
Okay, so with me here is Father Colin Jackson, the Deputy Father Colin Jackson, a teacher at the St. Martin's Secondary School. Good evening, Father Colin.
Good evening.
And how are you feeling today about the entire competition on the whole?
I These students are amazing. I sat there with the impromptu the questions and I was thinking, well, what would I say? And I found myself thinking I wouldn't really know what to say. So they are amazing. They really took this by the horn, and they were well prepared. I know at least for our student, Alexander, there was hours and hours of preparation going into it. And I can see the same thing coming out of all of the other students. I can see a lot of hard work that went into this. And so I'm quite proud and I'm quite pleased at what I saw here today.
Yes. And what are your thoughts about the standard of this competition?
I think it's second to none. I think it's excellent. Um, some of the topics for the impromptu I found to be a bit broad, not giving the students quite a bit to work with. But other than that, this is excellent. Excellent.
Okay. And when it comes to your school, the competitor Alexander Cummins, what were some challenges he may have encountered while preparing, or some challenges the school encountered while preparing for this competition?
Time management, I suppose, would be one of the major problems here. So, Miss Boye would have been principally the person working with him. Miss Boye is also the vice principal, and she also teaches. He is still, of course, carrying his full load as a student, and because the competition is a little bit later than normal, so exams start in 2 weeks. So, being able to manage time and find the time to get this done would have been a bit difficult, but they did. They did. I saw Miss Boye do some amazing things and brought other classes in to help him. So there were cases where an entire class sat and drilled him with impromptu questions for him to answer and stuff like that. So we made it work, but that would have been the difficulty, time management.
And how do you feel about his overall performance tonight?
I am extremely proud of Alexander. He really, really, really did us proud. And so, yes, I'm quite pleased with him.
Okay.
Just a little jogger.
Nicholas.
If, and that's a big if, Alexander wasn't to win tonight, who would you give?
I can only see Alexander at this point in time. You're not putting me in that trouble on the radio, not at all.
Father Colin, thank you for joining us, and we do hope that you enjoy the rest and the results are in your favor.
God willing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Get ready to bring you the results. These tokens were provided by our sponsor, Flow. And again, we say thanks to Flow St. Vincent and the Grenadines for providing these tokens of appreciation. And I'll begin in the order in which we started. Mr. Kesley Cambridge, judge number 1.
So right now they're giving the judges a token of appreciation, and just a reminder that the students are vying for the Michael De Freitas Challenge Trophy.
Cell phones, please give way to the television cameras as well if you're getting photographs for the results segment. Mrs. Simone Joseph Oliver, judge number 2.
Yes. So while the judges just can remember the prizes, Flo indicated that each student would be given a mobile handset. The winner will be given a 2-year scholarship up until
Mr. Richie
the
Maitland, you will go
community
next in
college, and the second and third place would also be
compliments Flo.
granted with minor scholarships.
Michael,
And the winning school would receive, I think, a 3,000 EC dollars. They spoke about 3 topics. They had the main topic, which was our world is in a state of confusion
followed by
as it tries to
Ms.
reconcile
Khaleesi Mingo.
one's inalienable rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs, and the role of the state. Then we have the students prepared topics and the impromptu topic.
Yes, Angie, we have another. We have one of somebody from the audience here with us. We're gonna ask her a few questions about how she feels about the competition and who she's supporting tonight.
What
Okay, good night, everyone. Well, I think the competition was of a very high standard. I must congratulate all the participants. I I was impressed by the main speeches. They were quite good. Um, for the student prepared speech, I think St. Vincent Grammar School student was outstanding. And for the impromptu segment of competition, I really admired the student from the Dr. J.P. Eustace. I think he did a great job with that impromptu question.
Do you have any favorites tonight?
Oh, for sure. My favorite is Jahim, St. Vincent Grammar School. And I think that as defending champs, we're looking for the trophies to go right back to the St. Vincent Grammar School.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Are you a teacher at the St. Vincent Grammar School?
I'm a teacher at St. Vincent Grammar School.
So, what were some challenges, if you can highlight to us, that Jahim and the St. Vincent Grammar School may have encountered while preparing for tonight's competition?
I don't even know if I want to call them challenges, but the main topic was quite loaded. And it took Jahim some time to read and understand before a speech could have been written. So that to me was the main challenge. He was all excited about this competition because he had won the school's internal competition. And so all during the summertime, during the Olympics, he started generating ideas, looking forward to a final round of competition. So I think he was all excited all along. But the main topic, I think it was a loaded topic.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your views with us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you for having me.
That was the topic that was provided. Our world is in a state of confusion as it tries to reconcile one's inalienable rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs, and the role of the state. And in that category, St. Martin's Secondary School, Alexander Cummings.
So the main category was
Ask Alexander that you just hold. We'll do the presentation shortly.
was won by St. Martin Secondary School, Alexander Cummins.
All right, the next was the student prepared speech, and this is where we allowed each of the students to choose a topic and prepare for it in 5 minutes and speak on it. And in this category, Raj Balls, Dr. J.P. Eustace Memorial Secondary School. And this one,
And the student prepared speech was won by the Dr. J.P. Eustace Memorial Secondary, Raj Bals. Now we wait for the impromptu. Raj Bals also won that segment of the competition for the impromptu speech.
the student prepared speech and the impromptu. And we're about to go into, so we're going to do the presentations now for these categories. So as I call you again, please move forward and collect your token for the various categories. So again, the main speech, best main speech, Alexander Cummings of the St. Martin Secondary School. Okay, we invite the UNICEF representative, my apologies, UNICEF representative to present this category. As a matter of fact, we'll be presenting all three categories here tonight. Nicole Trudeau, UNICEF rep. Main speech, St. Martin Secondary School, Alexander Cummings. Thank you very much. Nicole, please remain in place. The student prepared speech, Raj Balls, Dr. J.P. Eustace Memorial. And he'll be receiving 2 trophies also for the impromptu speech. So Raj will take the 2 at the same time. And the photo moment as well. All right, so are we ready for the overall winners? All right, the presenter for this category, the country manager for Flow, Mr. Wayne Hall, we invite you at this time to present the winners with their prizes. So stand by. And we begin in position number 3 of the St. Martin Secondary School, Alexander Cummings. The opportunity.
Yes, Alexander Cummings of the St. Martin Secondary School coming third.
Third.
Yes.
He was also the winner of the main topic.
Yes, main speech.
Position number 2, second place. From the Mountain View Adventist Academy, Samara Lynch.
So second place we have the Mountain View Adventist Academy, Samara Lynch.
Many thanks to Flo for assisting in the process of presentation and also sponsoring tonight. And the opportunities for photos. You'll also have another opportunity at the end of the competition, at the end of the program tonight, to take more photos.
So yes, third place, St. Martin Secondary School, Alexander Cummins. Second place, Mountain View Adventist Academy.
Of the 2024 Lions Club St. Vincent South Flow SVG National Public Speaking Competition. From the Dr. J.P. Eustace Memorial Secondary School, Raj Balls.
So the winner of the Alliance Club St. Vincent South Flow National Secondary School Public Speaking Competition 2024 is none other than Raj Bowles of the Dr. J.P. Eustace Memorial Secondary School. Second place, we have the Mountain View Adventist Academy, Samara Lynch, and third place, the St. Martin's Secondary School, Alexander Cummins. So this brings us to the end of the National Secondary Schools Public Speaking Competition 2024. It was 3 judge categories. One, we had the main topic, which was Our World is in a State of Confusion, as it tries to reconcile one's inalienable rights, civil liberties, religious beliefs, and the role of the state. And then we had the student prepared topics, followed by the impromptu topic. St. Martin's Secondary School, Alexander Cummins won the main topic. Dr. J.P. Eustace Raj Bowles won the student prepared speech with his speech on youth violence, and he also won the impromptu speech where he spoke on developing talents and abilities. So right now they're just awarding the other competitors their trophies.
Remember, each participant for tonight will receive mobile handset devices.
Yes.
And the winner, Raj, gets a 2-year scholarship to the St. Vincent the Grenadines Community College.
And the second and third place would get minor scholarships as well.
Yes.
And the winning school, I think, would receive either 3,000 or 4,000.
So some kind of $1,000, yes.
Yes.
And we ask that Jaheem Primus of the St. Vincent Grammar School step forward.
So one thing I must say, all schools and all parents must be proud of the competitors tonight. It took a lot of courage, a lot of preparation, a lot of planning, a lot of thought.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice, yes. To be here today and go up there and present on these, present 3 times actually.
Yeah.
And, I must commend them indeed.
Quite an interesting turn of events.
Yes,
you know.
indeed. Yes, indeed. I think this result actually shocked a few persons.
Yes, yes. I'm not too surprised because I think JP Eustace he wasn't that outstanding, but he was neck to neck.
He was
And
consistent.
yes, so he would have kept his scores, close to, or not too far from the others. So if they fouled, then he would have stand a chance, and that's exactly what happened.
And to be honest, I must give him credit. That impromptu speech, I handed it to him.
Yes, he handled it. Yes.
Yes, indeed. So yes, folks, that's a 2024 secondary school public speaking competition. The Lions Club South, sponsored by Floor. And I must say, I appreciate and I must commend this event and the continuous support by Flow and Lions Club South. As stated earlier, this event has been going on for about 25 years when they took it over from JC's.
You wouldn't have been around. That was this time. You don't know about JC's.
Yes, I do know about JC's.
You hear about the building.
I may look young,
Yeah.
but I have a little age on me. So joining me here shortly is the representative for East Kingstown, Fitzgerald Bramble. Good evening, Bramble.
Good evening. How are you guys doing?
Very good. And how are you feeling tonight?
Oh, this is a very exciting event. My voice is a little gone because I was coaching a primary school football team today. So, while helping to coach and support, so you don't know how that goes. But no, man, this was really, really encouraging tonight. I'm very pleased.
And what do you think about the youth presentation tonight on the various topics?
Very well done. Very well done. I know some people are a little hard on them, particularly with the table topic, the impromptu speeches. But even the greatest of public speakers struggle sometimes with the impromptu. So, but I was very, very happy the way they expressed themselves, their language, their delivery, their conviction, their passion. I really, what I would like to see though is more of this being promoted in the schools. I don't know how many schools actually encourage like internal public speaking competitions.
Okay. Because I know they had 13 schools. They started with 13 schools, and we ended up with these 6 schools from the four zones.
Right, but I think, I mean, 13 schools, we got what? Over, that's not even half of the number of secondary schools that we have in the country. And this is a very important aspect of student and young people's development, being able to express themselves verbally. I mean, there are different ways of expressing yourself, but there's nothing like having that voice and being able to use that voice effectively. I think something that could help to promote more development of this aspect of the young people's lives is a well-functioning, a well-developed and well-functioning youth parliament. I think that would encourage and sort of develop the speaking abilities of our young people who have that inclination. Not everybody is going to want to get into public speaking or get into government or politics or any vocation or occupation that may require speaking in public. But for the ones who have that inclination and who have that desire, I think something like the youth parliament could really help to develop that. I know there are attempts to develop a youth parliament here, but it's woefully inadequate. And I think that is something that we could focus on going forward.
Yes, indeed. And as you mentioned youth parliament, we take you back to their student prepared speeches. What are your thoughts on the topics they addressed? the various topics they addressed?
Well, I think the topic reflects the student prepared speech you said, right? Yeah. I think those topics reflect the issues that are burning in our society. I mean, you have to listen to the voice of the young people, and if the topics that they choose, sports, your resilience, van culture, youth violence, these are all issues which are significantly impacting the lives of young people. So we have to stand up and pay attention. In my capacity as a lawmaker, as a parliamentarian, I have written down the topics that they chose because these are the issues that we have to meaningfully address if we're talking about looking out for young people's interests. You cannot ignore it. So and the topics were varied enough, I think, to reflect, the concerns of young people.
Okay, thank you so much, Fitzgerald Bramble. It's always a pleasure having you with us tonight, and we really do hope that you can share these topics with other people that the students touched here
Oh yeah,
tonight.
most definitely. I love public speaking. I'm not here because I'm a parliamentarian. I won this public speaking competition years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, I did. And
You want to wrong, Angie. Like I said, you want to wrong.
so public speaking is something, I like debates, I like expressing myself, I like trying to influence people. So this is something that it's very important for me, and I come here all the time. I wish more parliamentarians and more representatives could find it, in their busy schedule to be here, but I'm here nonetheless. I was happy, I enjoyed it, and I will continue to support young people's development in whatever way possible. And it's always nice to be on Nice Radio. So thank you guys for having me tonight.
And you're most welcome. And don't be a stranger. Once we're here, we always have room for interviews and positive talks.
And I'm always available. I won't be presumptuous and just show up.
Right,
But
right.
as long as you guys invite me, I'll make myself available.
No problem. We appreciate it very much. And thanks for sharing with us.
And thank you guys for the wonderful job that you've done. Take care.
Yes, have a good one. Yes, Angie, and that brings us to the end of tonight's event. Let me see if I can get two more persons that we can interview, maybe a student and so forth.
Yes,
yes.
indeed. Yes, it's been a pleasure,
Yes, we're coming to you live from the
Methodist Church Hall. And, the excitement is here.
No, come, Mr. Harry. Come, Mr. Harry. Have a seat. With us, we have Mr. Harry, no stranger to microphone and no stranger to crowds and no stranger to events like these. Mr. Harry, how are you feeling tonight? What are your take? What's your take on the whole turn of events and everything that transpired here tonight?
Well, good night all. I think it took a lot of heart, bravery, and confidence for these young presenters to do, a job well done, thoughtful, and that the teachers who work with them did a great job in getting the material together. I think, as I said, it took bravery, confidence, poise, and I think it got to some of them tonight. And outside of that, I think that it was a job well done.
Okay. You still teaching or you retired?
No, I'm still teaching. Matter of fact,
What school you in now?
I'm at Thomas Saunders.
Your school didn't make it or they didn't participate
No,
this year?
we didn't participate this year. But I've spent like about 18 years at JP Eustace, formerly Emmanuel High School, before it was renamed JP Eustace.
Now, one thing before you go, what are your thoughts on the student prepared topics that these young persons brought to us this afternoon?
I think they were well thought out. The information that they presented, I think they did a great job in getting the information and presenting it to the public.
Now, Mr. Harry, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not mixing up the Harrys, you're the one that's related to sports?
Yes, yes.
All of them. I'm just making sure. Now, what are your thoughts on the ones that spoke about, touched on the sports aspect in St. Vincent? Well, not St. Vincent only, but regionally and internationally.
I think they were great. I was somewhat impressed with Cummins' information on the whole aspects of the development of sports and the youth aspect, and also I think the grammar school youngster who from the experience garnished from the Olympics. I thought they were very thoughtful in that aspect.
Okay, and do you have any words of advice or encouragement for youth that may contemplate coming into the public speaking?
Make sure you make sure you have a high confidence level and good poise in terms of making your presentation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Harry, and hope that you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Angie, I'm trying to see if I can get two students. Maybe we could interview two students here. What how they feel about the competition and what was going through the head
Yes.
while up there.
But yes, folks, we're here wrapping up shortly. It's been a night, different views from the competition tonight, and I must commend all of the individuals. It really took a lot of heart, a lot of confidence, and with me, I see approaching is Miss Kyra Johnson from North Union Secondary, and she's going to share a bit of her experience with us shortly. Good evening, Kyra. And how are you feeling tonight? Yes, I must congratulate you. 13 schools, 4 zones, and you're here at the finals. I know it took probably a lot of nerves, a lot of courage. I myself could not probably have done that. What were some of the challenges, if you had any, while preparing for tonight? Yes. And what was your favorite aspect of the entire journey coming up to tonight? Yes. And what about your support system? Could you tell us a bit about your support system who was there for you during this time? And what would you say to anybody who would like to come and participate in such a competition, but would hesitate?
So, just come out and be yourself.
All right. So I think they missed a bit of it because the mic got switched off. So sorry about that. So we're just gonna roll back that a bit. So what is your advice to the youth who decide that they would, come into the competition?
Okay, so although you might be shy, not wanting to come, it's a great opportunity to be involved in, giving your school a lot of boost, confidence in yourself, especially. And I would say, even though the nerves may be there, you can do this.
And what was your favorite part from the journey or this competition tonight?
It was preparing for everything because honestly, I cried a lot. I cried a lot. So it was sad.
And what was some of you told us before, but the listeners couldn't hear us, but what are a few of the challenges, if you encountered any, while preparing for tonight?
Well, it was the impromptu.
I had a lot of problems with it, although as I spoke, it was fairly well, in my opinion. I'm not sure about the others, but it was good. From back then, I couldn't even say like a couple of words properly, so
And what
that's a
were
great achievement for me.
Yes, kudos to you, especially with that main topic. We had challenges with the word inalienable. And what was your most memorable experience going through the preliminaries and the finals? What is
Okay, so let's start from the top. So it came down to like when my teacher told me, I'm looking at you to go into the public speaking competition for a school. I was like, okay, I can do this. So coming here, it was a lot of nerves pushing together. So fast forward, after I finished, I cried. I went outside and I cried. I'm not afraid to say that. Because I thought my impromptu wasn't good enough. And then the night, my teacher called me and told me, "Girl, you did so good," etc., etc. And she said, "You made it to the finals." I said, "What?" I was shocked and I couldn't stop screaming because I did not expect to make it to the finals, but it was a great journey and meeting the other participants. It was good meeting them as well. And congratulations to all.
Yes, and congratulations to you because it really took a lot of courage. And I must commend you on the job well done of making it into the finals.
Thank you.
And all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, we have just two more students. We are waiting the grammar school, secondary, and the St. Martin's secondary. But Angie, it was like the students said, challenging, a lot of nerves, you know, plenty sleepless nights, preparation, you know.
And a lot of them are fourth formers and fifth formers, to be honest. And I know exams, they're around the corner.
Yes, in about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks time, yeah, they should be starting exams.
So I can only imagine, you know, the preparation it took. So yes, wrapping up, we had the St. Martin's Secondary School, Alexander Cummins with their winning the main topic award. We had the Dr. JP Eustace who captured the student prepared speech and the impromptu topic, and he turned out to be the winner of the Michael De Freitas Challenge Trophy.
Yes, with us we have a teacher. Good night, sir. And what school you representing tonight?
Good night. I'm representing the St. Martin's Secondary School.
Is it your first time at the public speaking competition?
In fact, it isn't. I myself have participated.
You did?
Finals, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to put you in the hot seat right away. How you feel about tonight's presentation? The students' prepared speech, the impromptu and everything.
All right. It's for me. It brings back much memories. Having been here not too long ago as a student, and now coming back with my student, several years later, it brings back fun memories, and it's good to see that it is something that is still happening. In terms of the overall competition, I think it was of a good caliber. It was well represented, even though amidst the challenges that were mentioned. And listening to the student prepared speech, especially, we see that the young people have a lot of points and a lot of things that we can improve on as a society.
Now, as a previous finalist and now a teacher of someone who made it in the top 3, what are some words of encouragement, or what would you say to somebody who's contemplating entering this competition?
All right, what I would say to them is enter. So for me, I was sent in fourth form, and being nervous, just like most other students, I did not go. And my teacher expressed a disappointment and then mentioned to me in fifth form that I am going. So whereas I got a choice in fourth form, in fifth form they said you are going. We know that you can do it. Go ahead. For me, I would tell them, just enter. They will get the support, and it is something that helps you over time. Yes, it is a competition, but it helps you when you have to speak publicly. It helps you interacting with other people, and it is something that you can also use to build your resume. Right? It just affords you that opportunity to develop yourself holistically.
Okay, and overall, what are your thoughts on the entire competition tonight?
Right. I think it was well done. What I would like to see, however, is especially at the preliminary level, more schools represented so that we could add to the competition and give other schools exposure. I am taken aback, just like most of the other people here, with JPU just coming out in a top position because as far as I remember, they have not been here for a while. And now we enter in the competition and taking the trophy home. I think it is indeed a historical moment and that this should be well celebrated.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, and we wish you a good evening.
All right. Thank you for having me and have a good evening as well.
So, yes, folks, you've heard it from different persons. Right now, we're hoping to speak to the third place. Third place winner tonight. Yes. So with us, we have Alexander Cummins of the St. Martin Secondary School, who placed third in the competition tonight. How are you feeling, Alexander?
Um, Firstly, a little bit disappointed. Was hoping to place first, obviously, but placing third is still a really good achievement for all of us, for the whole school, really. Obviously, this $1,000 scholarship is going to help me a lot when I get to college. And yeah, I'm just proud of my teachers, proud of myself, proud of my parents.
Yes, and congratulations on winning the main topic. Now, what were some challenges, if you had any, while preparing for today's competition?
With the main topic, obviously, it's very heavy
Yes.
and a little bit it's hard to stay out of the controversies. So really just have to be careful with what you say. You can't say too much, can't say too little, and obviously we've got the balance right.
Okay. And what would you say is your most memorable experience while for the entire journey while preparing for tonight, the preliminaries and the finals?
Well, I enjoyed really getting to meet new people, getting to network with, all these students who are going to be our future leaders in the community. I enjoyed really the preparation as well, getting to spend, well, firstly, time out of class, but also, spending time with the teachers, getting to bond. I didn't go home until about 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon. So,
Okay. And what would be your advice to anybody who's interested? Maybe you're in Form 4. Maybe next year, somebody Form 3 is going to be in Form 4 and they're interested in participating. What would be your advice to them?
really, especially with the impromptu, just be yourself. Make sure your intonations are good. Make sure you're speaking to the audience. And you're not just speaking to the paper. Yeah, really focus on the enunciation, everything. Just make it lively, for sure.
What inspired your student prepared speech?
Well, I'm an athlete myself, as I mentioned. I captained the St. Vincent on the 14 national team this summer. And it's really seeing all the flaws that we have and how it really could be better. Um, it hurts me sometimes to see how little we have, but like I pose the recommendations, if we do those things, we could be much better.
Like I was telling my co-host, I'll vote you for my sports parliamentarian any day, because some of the ideas you brought out and so forth really needs to be considered. They were very, very strong, and I agree with you with separating the ministry because it's a big ministry indeed. It
Sports,
covers
tourism, and
yeah,
culture.
and how you're gonna balance sports, tourism, and culture. But all the best and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Right, all the best, Alexander. Yes. So, folks, there you've heard it from competitor Alexander Cummins, the third place position. We hope to possibly speak with the second and first place, but I guess they have run off as the time is slowly ticking. So yes, folks, we this was the Lions Club St. Vincent South Flow a secondary national secondary school public speaking competition 2024 finals. We had first place the JP Eustace Memorial Secondary School Raj Bulls. Then second place Mountain View Adventist Academy Samara Lynch, and third place St. Martin's Secondary School Alexander Cummins.
Yes, Angie, it was a pleasure co-hosting with you. It's always nice chatting with you.
Likewise.
Yeah. You bring some life to the station. I know a lot of people like to hear your voice. They don't like this croaky thing coming through here, but
Well, it's surprising because this voice was a hoarse voice tonight. But nonetheless, Nikki, it's always been a pleasure. And in a different aspect than carnival, it's a pleasure, shifting
yeah,
a bit.
and let the folks know we're versatile.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we're
indeed.
versatile.
And I want to thank our listeners for tuning in and being here with us tonight, whether you were listening to us via radio or on Facebook Live. It's always a pleasure having you with us. You're the ones that push us and motivate us to keep going and bringing you live everything.
Yeah, live coverage of all the events happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Yes, we want to say thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for listening.
And yes, we wish everybody a good night. I am Angelique Fitzpatrick.
I'm Nicholas Sandy.